Hello, my name is PC-Spacegoon, and today we're going to be looking at Eataine and Tyrion in particular in the first 20 turns. So, when people ask me on stream what faction should I play first, usually I say the High Elves are a pretty good choice in general, and Tyrion in particular, because he is a very straightforward lord to play. You send him into battle, he hits people in the face, they die. Nothing really crazy going on there, and you don't even have to be super fancy with him as far as like positioning and stuff like that too, because he's just a god. He just like walks at people and they go away. So very straightforward for a new player to understand how he functions, and also a lot of the stat bonuses he gives to his units are very good. He makes units cheaper, and because he's part of the High Elf faction, he gets a lot of good units to work with as well. So the High Elves have a lot of good infantry, a lot of good archer units, a lot of good monster units, good cav units as well. The only thing that they're really lacking is artillery units, and their artillery is okay, but you only get one unit of it, or one type of unit of it, and it's definitely not as strong as some other factions already. It's not like a rocket battery or something, right? But mostly you can get by with your archers, your infantry, and your monsters. But with that being said, let's look at this even further. Alright, so this is your start position. You start on the south of Uthwan, which is a really nice place to be, because not only do you have a port right off the bat, which helps with your trade, which helps with your money, which makes everything easier, you start on Uthwan, and Uthwan has lots of resources on it, as well as a bunch of specialty buildings, which can increase things like your research rate, how much money you get, or like it could boost units in some way. So starting here, really nice. Then also you have these race attributes. These are things that all High Elves have, so it doesn't matter who you play here. You will have these. First thing right off the bat here is Intrigue. You use a resource called Influence, and you can spend that to make either superior lords or heroes. Essentially, you can get some really cool passives on your lords or heroes if you have enough influence to spend on them when you buy them. Or you can use it to affect diplomacy between factions. So you can use it to make friends with other factions easily, or you can make two factions decide that they want to fight each other. You know, basically you get to play around with the diplomacy system a little bit more than other factions do. And because diplomacy is one of the more finicky things in the game, having just a direct line to either making people like you or hate each other, things like that, is very, very useful just in general. So this is one of the reasons why the High Elves in general are very strong as a faction, is because they can get to mess around with this diplomacy system. Then you have Espionage, which allows you to see the line of sight for assets controlled by the trade partner. So basically this gives you just map hacks. That's all it is. It's map hacks. You trade with somebody, you can see what they have. So this makes things a lot easier. Again, because you have information, right? Information is really, really, really insanely useful. So the more stuff you can see, the easier it is to make choices on what you want to do when you're not fumbling around in the fog of war. Later on, you can even get a technology as the High Elves that allow you to see every sea region at all times. So not only can you see places that you're trading with, which is really good because it not only gives you money, it gives you this vision, you can then get a technology later which allows you to see all of the ocean, and that allows for even better choices to be made on the campaign map. The last thing that all elves have is a thing called Martial Prowess. There's a couple different versions of this, like the regular Martial Prowess, which gives some pretty decent bonuses, and then there's Martial Mastery, which gives even more bonuses. Tyrion has Martial Mastery. His units have Martial Prowess. Basically what it does is, if you have above 50% HP, you get combat stats. So melee attack and melee defense. A little bit of melee attack, a lot of melee defense. And obviously Martial Mastery gives you even more. And I'll show you that once we actually get onto the map, so I can, like, show you with Tyrion. So the Elves already have some really good units. Like, their stats are usually pretty solid. And then you add this on top of that. And, yeah, it makes for a lot easier time. Once again, this is one of the reasons... Well, all these things here are why I suggest High Elves be played by a new player. And then just, like, the unit stats are another thing, right? It's just very, very good. Now let's take a look at what makes Eataine a great faction specifically. So, faction effects here. This is everything for the Eataine faction. You have diplomatic relations plus 20 with other High Elves. This is very, very useful because there are other High Elves that do not like you at all. So, having this keeps them off your back until you want to fight them, Or potentially you could even make friends with them and get them to join you in a confederation if you are going to spend enough influence on it, or if you fight their enemies enough, or whatever. You know, just so if you get their diplomacy up high enough, you can still make friends with the guys that hate you. So, something to keep in mind. Construction time reduced for the Shrine of Khaine building. This is whatever. You take it or leave it. I mean, if they didn't have this, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but because they do, I mean, it's a nice little bonus, I guess, but this just makes it so you can build that specialty building faster. Sure, whatever. It's okay. Recruitment duration down 1 turn for infantry and cavalry units. This is actually very good. Anything that reduces the amount of time you have to be standing around with your armies is super strong. So if you take 1 less turn to recruit units, that means your army is able to move around and be more effective in general. So, very, very nice. And also it's, not like, for a specific unit, it is infantry and cavalry. So this covers a lot of ground, right? A minimum of 1, you can't just build units in 0 turns and be like, haha, I have a bunch of spearmen, let's go. But still, very strong. And then you have your Lord effects here. So this is just Tyrion. Like, nobody else gets this besides Tyrion. This only affects the units that he has currently in his army, or that he builds out of his army. So, upkeep reduction 50% for Spearmen, Silver Guard, Rangers, Archers, and Silver Helm units. Negative 50% is a lot. That is a lot of upkeep reduction. Not saying that Spearmen are, like, super expensive to begin with, but cutting the cost in half is very, very nice. That plus the Archers, which is something you're going to be using a lot of. At the beginning of the game, Spearmen and Archers, super strong. You combine these units together, you can usually kick butt for a long time without having to upgrade. Silver Guard are basically just like the upgrade version of Spearmen, so at some point, if you get the opportunity, you could be like, I'm going to take my Spearmen, turn them into Silver Guard, and then my front line's a little bit stronger. You're probably not really going to do much with Rangers or Silver Helms outside of the ones you get at the beginning of the game. But, I mean, if you decide to, it's here. The upkeep reduction is nice for all these units. It's very, very, very good. Recruit rank +3 for Lothran Sea Guard units. I'm not a huge fan of the Sea Guard. They're kind of expensive for what they do. Now, if the Lord upkeep reduced their upkeep by 50% as well, that'd be freaking smashing. But, yeah, they're very expensive for how good they are. So I usually don't use a lot of them. Maybe a couple of them in an army. But for the most part, I steer away from this unit just because of the cost. So, something to keep in mind as you're building your armies. Again, I'm not saying don't use them. Just be aware of the cost of the upkeep when you go and decide to throw them into your armies. Because there are better units out there that can fill that spot, usually. So, just something to think about. So this is kind of This is insane, though. So, like, this kind of makes up for this a lot. And then this stuff up here. Other than this here, both these things are very good. And this is just kind of like, whatever. But, yeah, overall, very, very good here. We can now look at the starting units. So we have some Silver Helms to work with right off the bat, which is nice. It's nice to have some cav, get some mobility. These guys, I don't usually like building them, but if you start the game with them, sure. I mean, they're a great unit to have right at the beginning of the game. And then you have some Ithamar Chariots, which are stupid strong. Again, not a unit I probably would end up building, really. But if you get them on turn 1, they beat face. So you're going to be leveraging these guys and these guys quite a bit in the early game to get the DPS down on your opponent. And then you have White Lions, which are just kind of, they're there. White Lions, they hit things, they do some damage. But, again, not a very crazy unit overall, but they're not terrible either. And from turn 1, not an awful unit to have. So, all 3 of these special units, like, these are really, really good, and the White Lions are just kind of like, meh. But, again, these are very, very good on turn 1. Not so much later on, but... and White Lions are just kind of meh overall. But you get them, so you might as well use them, right? That's really all you need to know for this screen, though, so we are going to be moving on to the difficulty level. Now, if you're new, obviously, you're probably not going to want to play on these high difficulty levels, but we're going to do it here so that you can see that it works on the highest levels, And that means in your game, you should be fine too, right? So we have Legendary, we have Very Hard, these are maxed out. Chaos Invasion, not going to matter for this particular scenario because it's only going to be 20 turns, right? For yours, it could matter, but for this, it doesn't. I usually like to keep my battle settings on 40 minutes. And obviously, it's going to be in realism mode because I am on Legendary. Battle realism, basically what it does is it just locks your camera into an area, so you can't just look over the entire map at all points. You can play with that on or off if you want, but if you're on Legendary, it's always on. So just something to keep in mind. And with that, let's head towards the campaign map, shall we? Alright, here we are. Welcome to Eataine, gentlemen. So right off the bat, we'll see here is Tyrion, the man of the hour.
Champion of the Ever Queen.
And his amazing stat line. Like, this is all really good. 125 armor, that's insane. 75 melee attack and 60 melee defense at level 1. Very, very good. Weapon strength. You have your base weapon of 160 and your armor piercing of 310, so 310 damage that is not blocked by armor at all. And he has his charge bonus, which makes him even stronger when he runs at people, does the anime run, cuts people in half. It's pretty great stuff. You also have Martial Mastery instead of Martial Prowess. Martial Mastery gives you 6 more melee attack than Prowess does, so long as your hit points are over 50%. You also have Encouragement Aura, which just makes everybody around him want to fight all the harder because they see him running around, cutting people's heads off, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I want to do that too. We can go look at his skills here. Also, he has 3 magical items. All of these magical items are pretty darn great. As you can see, they give lots of bonuses here. He also gets a mount, which is pretty strong. Whether you put him on a mount or not is kind of a personal decision. Obviously, he becomes more susceptible to spear units if he's on a mount, but also he becomes really fast, and there's no detriment to putting him on a mount outside of the susceptibility to getting hit more often by spear units, which are fairly prevalent in the game, so something to think about. But he is a very, very, very good dismounted lord as well, so if you don't want to mount him, that's totally fine. These are normal things that all elves get. And then you have, down here, these are like his super special abilities. He has Majesty of Eataine and the Bloodline of Angerrial. Majesty of Eataine is more for the faction, and Bloodline of Angerrial is more for him. You can only pick one of these, though, at level 12. So if you go with the Majesty of Eataine, you're going to be looking at bonuses to units around him. You get Unifier, which gives you increased diplomatic relations with other High Elves, so if you want to get more of those confederations going, this is a good thing to have. Public Order +1, all provinces, that's just everybody. Everybody's just happier. And income from all buildings, 13% in the local province. So if he is in a province, he gets 13% increase to the money coming out of that province. Then you get Sense of Urgency, which reduces the recruitment cost, all armies. So 10% recruitment reduction across everybody, all units cheaper. You also have Global Recruitment Duration reduced by 1 turn for all units, so everybody can recruit global units faster. And Global Recruitment Capacity, which is +2, so you can get more units and get them faster no matter where you are on the map. Obviously, they're still going to be expensive, but this makes it so that you can get into enemy territory and keep rolling, essentially, because you can use Global Recruitment to get more troops if you happen to lose anybody along the way, or if you want to raise an army someplace else and get more of those specialty units in that army quicker. They have Righteous Cause, reduces the upkeep for all units, all armies. So everyone, across the board, negative 10% upkeep. Amazing. Absolutely incredible. Especially because later in the game, you're going to be getting things like dragons, which have 500, 600 or so upkeep. So that 10% is going to go a long way. So that's why I usually get the Majesty of Eataine. But if you're the kind of person that just wants to turn Tyrion into a face smash god, we have the Bloodline of Angerrial for you. This does reduce the public order in all provinces and local provinces. So people are going to be a little bit sadder that Tyrion has gone all bloodlusty and is just going around punching people in the face. But it does increase his melee attack by 12 and weapon strength by 20%, which is not insignificant. That is a pretty big number. And then you get the Wrath of Khaine for some more bonus versus large, leadership, and more weapon strength. Aspect of the Banshee. You get the charge bonus increase, and then Fear as well. Then you get Godly Perseverance, which gives you 25% increased HP, as well as physical resistance. Pretty darn strong. Now down here you have a bunch of dedications that all High Elves can get. I usually go with a dedication to Adioth, because reduction in the upkeep for dragons is really good, as well as income for sacking settlements up 15%. It's quite strong. You can look at these when you play your campaign as well and see if any of these really trip your trigger, but like I said, this is usually the one I end up going with. Then you have all of these yellow skill tree items, which essentially just make your guy better for fighting. These are normal across all lords, so nothing special here, except for Feint and Riposte, which gives him 24 melee attack, 24 melee defense, and 22% physical resistance over the course of 28 seconds, with a 90-second cooldown, and you can just use it off cooldown. So yeah, it's quite good. Once again, Tyrion cuts people's heads off. That's what he does. Here's your red line skill tree, which again is the same for all High Elves. So nothing special going on here, and nothing special going on in the blue skill tree either. So this is all pretty normal. Usually you're looking at things like Rope Marcher, Merchant Lord, and like Lightning Strike, Quartermaster, that kind of thing. If you end up going into the blue skill tree, that's kind of the stuff you're going to be looking to grab. Alright, so now we're going to go over here and look at this wheel. First thing on the wheel is the Sword of Khaine, which you can get if you draw it from the Shrine of Khaine, which is up here. Boom, up here. So you have to get all the way up here, and then you gotta build a specialty building. That's the building that we get the reduction in construction time for Tyrion specifically. So, hey, if you want to get that early, you can, but it is going to cause some problems with your public order and with how much other people like you, so it's kind of risky. And now we can look at the rights. So these are your rights. Invocation of Hoeth, Invocation of Isha, Invocation of Asuryan, and Invocation of Vol. This one here you're not going to really use for a while, because not only do you need kind of an expensive building to unlock it, it makes mages better, which you don't have any right now. So, yeah. It's kind of a waste of 2k, honestly. If you were to, even if you were to be able to pull it earlier, it would be kind of a waste. You got Invocation of Isha, which is situationally good. Not going to be really using this early on unless for some reason you really need that casualty replenishment, because the Untainted and the immunity to attrition is not really going to come into play early game, but it could come in later depending on where you're fighting. Invocation of Asuryan. This is, again, situationally good. Gives you 10 influence because it lasts 5 turns. Does reduce the construction cost of buildings and increases your public order. So if you're building a lot of buildings that will exceed the 2k cost, then this is going to be very useful. Or if you happen to have massive public order problems, the +4 can kind of get things beat down a little bit so you have less rebellions going on. So, good to keep your eye on this. Just kind of hang on to it, use it when it is applicable. But yeah, 20 turn cooldown, 5 turns worth of duration on that. And then you have the Invocation of Vol, which is by far and away the best one on the list. It only costs 1500. It does have a 30 turn cooldown and a 10 turn duration. The big reason why this is strong is because it gives you a dilemma, which will give you a powerful magical item. Now, when this happens, you get 4 random items from a list of very strong items in general. Some of the items are better than others, so you always want to be looking for the strongest item to pick from, but you're always going to get something that's good here. Like, you always find something that you want. The rest of the stuff here is okay. These bonuses, again, you're not really going to use these right away. I mean, you do have some white lions, but otherwise the rest of this stuff is units that you get later, so like, this is not going to be all that useful early on. And then you have Vol's Hammer here. Vol's Hammer is very useful because it allows you to immediately attack settlements that have walls around them, and it can allow you to destroy said walls while in combat, and it can get rid of siege towers as well. So if you have to defend your city against somebody sieging it, Vol's Hammer can instantly destroy siege towers, and if you're attacking a city, it makes it so you don't need any form of siege equipment to just go right in on turn 1, and then you can blow down sections of wall, potentially dropping units and injuring them or killing them, and then also it allows you to just walk right in. So this is quite strong. For only 1500, it's a good thing it's only a 30-turn cooldown, honestly, because every time this is off cooldown, you should be using it. Unless you see a specific instance where you're like, ooh, in the next, like, 15 turns, I'm going to need this ability a lot, so we need to wait like 5 turns before I pull this, right? So, unless you see a specific use for Val's Hammer, just use this whenever it is off cooldown. Next up, we have the Intrigue at Court options, which is what you use your influence on. Well, one of the things you use your influence on. This allows you to mess with the diplomacy, as I mentioned before. So, like, here's me, here's Averlorn. If I had 5 influence, I could improve our relationship and make them like me more, which is very helpful when it comes to trying to make those confederations and just trying to keep people from killing you in general. Very, very useful. Or you could even be like, alright, we want to make these guys hate each other, so we could decrease their relations. Or we could try to make 2 other guys like each other if you're trying to keep them from fighting and messing with your current diplomacy. So you can do a lot of things with this. It's actually insanely useful because, like I said before, the diplomacy system can be kind of finicky, and having these extra options makes things a lot better overall. And a lot of this stuff isn't super expensive. It can get quite expensive, depending, but early on at least, very, very cheap. And to get influence, you can use nobles, like this guy here,
what do you
do the secure influence ability. You don't want to do this right now, but that's one of the ways you can get it. Or there are dilemmas as well, which you will see pop up, which give you options to get some of that sweet, sweet influence also. The other thing influence does for lords and heroes is, if you look here, you have passives on your lords, and without any influence, they are actually negatives. They're not bonuses at all. But if you have some, like this one's 60, then you start getting some sweet stuff like magic resistance for all units, missile resistance for all infantry, melee defense +5 for the entire army. Quite strong, right? Good stuff. So, this is very good in general. It's good for your diplomacy, it's good for your armies. Just something that you want to get your hands on. Get as much of it as you can, because it will help you in the long run. And next on the list, we have technology. Lots of cool technology. Lots of cool bonuses, both civic stuff and army stuff. But for right now, the only thing we can get is Military Advancements 1, which gives us absolutely nothing. Besides the right to get things that actually help us later. So, it's basically just making it so on turn 1 you can't start, like, teching something. So, that's pretty much it. That's all it's there for. So we're going to hit that up. And then you have Diplomacy, which you can look at Diplomacy here, or you can look at Diplomacy up here. If there's not, like, a ton of stuff to look at, this can be quite useful. Instead of going to this menu. Because this menu, like, grabs your camera and swings you around all over the place. This menu, you can just hit it, and you can just look at it at a glance. But at a glance, let's see. We have Tyrion, likes us, but is starting to dislike us. We've got Safri that dislikes us and is going to keep disliking us, so we got to keep our eyes on them, that they don't attack us. And you have Kaldor, which likes us a bit, but is going to dislike us even more. And they have Lysean, who also is not a huge fan of us. And Averlorn, which dislikes us, but they are going to like us more. So a lot of these guys, their relationship with us is going to improve because we're going to start killing Dark Elves. So hopefully they won't attack us at all. Likely they won't attack us at all. It's actually fairly highly unlikely that they will, unless we do something really dumb. So long as we continue killing Dark Elves, this should be fine. We obviously are at war with the Cult of Excess, which these guys here. So we'll have to be dealing with them first. But because we are friends with these guys,
welcome.
We can go here
and
we get a trade agreement.
Of course.
So that gives us a little bit of money, and also because of our espionage, we can now see their territory. Yay, map hacks. Get that black sheep wall up in here. And then you have your mission objectives, or your campaign objectives. So you have both chapter objectives and your overall victory objectives. But because we're not going to be able to get that far in 20 turns, we won't really look at those for now. We'll just give you the best 20 turns you can start out with, and then you'll look to complete those objectives later on. Now lastly, before we start moving units around, let's take a look at Lothern itself. Boop! Alright, so right off the bat here, see that we can level it up, which we're going to want to do, because that gives us a bunch of bonuses, so let's do that right away. And then we have a barracks over here, right? They can build rangers and archers with light armor. Hang on, cancel this real quick. Out of Lothern itself, we can build spearmen and regular archers, which are going to be the backbone of our army. So basically we just need to level this up, and we can get rid of this, which will give us 600 gold. So we don't need this at all. And we can put something else more useful here on turn 2. So for right now, level up Lothern and dismantle the barracks. And now we're going to actually get to moving some units. Holy crap. Here we go. Alright, so first off,
your command.
we're going to take this guy and put him into Tyrion's army.
I will share my experience.
Because we want him to be here to give us extra fighting capability.
Servant of the king.
And obviously we're close enough to the Tower of Lysean to just like walk up and attack it if we wanted to with our army. But that's a bad idea because the army here is pretty spook. So we really don't want to walk up here and start knocking on their door. There is also an army over here, but this army I am less concerned about for a couple of reasons. One, they're just a little bit weaker. They have some okay units, but they're just a little bit weaker. And two, we can do this. If you have a army selected, when you're mousing over the terrain, you can see the ambush success chance, right? So it's 45 here, right? Yeah, 45, 45, 45. Now, there's a spot right over here, which is 70%, which is quite a bit. So we can go here. Off we go
my journey
to our 70% chance to ambush. Ambushing takes 25% of our movement, and we're at 29%. So we go into ambush stance.
Lying away.
There we go. And now,
Short-sighted.
these dudes here are more than likely going to go, oh look, undefended city, and try to go this way, right? And these guys here are probably going to try to move down here as well and go, oh crap, undefended city. Well, I mean, it's got a garrison, but you know, there's no army kicking around. So if he wants to combine this army and this army together to try to siege Lothern, because these guys are inquisitive to him, unless he rolls really well. So he could still roll to spot me during his turn, which would mean he's not going to move.
Ladriel, guide me.
He could roll when he attacks me that the ambush fails, but he still has to fight me at that point. It's just more favorable for him. Or my ambush could succeed and we just completely grind him into dust. So those are our three options here. I'll show you the outcomes to each one of these options and how to fight each one of those battles if they were to happen to you. But that's into turn 2 or 1.5, I guess, because it would be technically happening on his turn. But in the meantime, because he's over here ambushing, right, so he can't build units or anything, we're going to go over here to Lothern, and we're going to go recruit Lord, and we're going to find an Archmage, and we're going to find a Lore of Metal Archmage, and we're going to find one that doesn't have too bad of a detriment. This guy here, negative 15% speed. They don't move particularly fast to begin with, so this is going to be like negative 5 speed or some nonsense, so we'll just get good old Gandalfa here.
High Elven Archmage, bring me my tomes.
Now, all of these detriments are random, so when you're selecting which lord
is fresh
to build, you want to make sure you don't build one
Archmage
that has anything that increases the cost of units that you're going to be using. So nothing that increases the cost of spearmen, nothing that increases the cost of archers, nothing that increases the upkeep of those units, things like that, or anything that would decrease the amount of money you get per turn in your local province.
High
Like,
Elven
these
Archmage.
minor stat reductions doesn't really matter, so it's whatever.
Weaver of
And then we're going to
spells.
use her to build 2 archers and spearmen. So he's over here ambushing. She's over here building
An
2
excellent
archers
view.
and a spearman. And Tyrion is just super excited about the whole situation. He has an excellent view of the upcoming murder, and he is pretty thrilled. But that is going to be the end of your turn 1. Pretty neat, huh? Alright, so we're going to be heading into turn 2, and obviously turn 1.5, where the enemy is going to probably try to move into us, and we're either going to succeed our ambush, fail our ambush, or we're going to get, like, the middle ground option. And like I said, I'll show you all of those, so that you have a good idea of what to do if it happens to you. But here we go. On to the turn tracker. And I'll normally cut out this turn tracker, but it's important for this. Okay, so we got the ambush, right? This is the best case scenario. And this is what's going to happen most of the time. Most of the time you play this, you're going to get this ambush, right? So there's a couple things you can do if you fail the ambush, obviously. You can either, A, start over because it's turn 1, and if you want this ambush, freaking rock and roll. If you want the game to be a little bit harder, or you want to live with the consequence of your actions, then if you do fail, you can just follow what I do in the rest of the guide for those situations. But for now...
Bring me battle!
Exactly. Alright, welcome to the battle map. Here we are. Here is our foe that we are currently ambushing. Before we get started, if you're interested about how I got all these bubbles and stuff from our units, if you hold the space bar, you get a menu over here that allows you to do things like this, and you can lock that stuff on and off. Foliage. It's kind of nice, because otherwise you get stuff like this going on. So, things like that. And then these menus over here on the side. There's a little button down here. But, first thing is first, we're going to take our infantry units, and we're going to set them up. It's basically right here. And then we're going to take our cav, our silver helms, and put them on the left.
Battle calls!
We will take our chariots and put them on the right. Basically, the reason why we're doing this is because these guys are going to be better against the archers in general. Because the archers tend to spread out a little bit more. Then these guys have more units, so they're going to catch more of those archers when they charge in. These guys here are more than likely going to end up grouping, and the chariots are really good at smashing large groups of infantry. So we'll set them up over here. When these guys get grouped up a bit, we'll have the chariots charge in. I mean, the chariots are probably going to end up charging into some of the archers as well. But for right now, these guys go this way. We'll bring these guys around this way. And then these dudes basically just push up. For our archers, we want to take them and put them here. We want to have them lined up with the enemy harpies, because the enemy having mobility is not a good thing. If they can catch our cav and our chariots running around, or get on top of our archers, things like that, not great for us overall. So we want to try to shoot down the harpies as fast as possible, reduce the enemy's mobility. That way we have control of the battlefield in that aspect. Take our leaders, and we're going to put them over here, because basically we're just going to take our leaders and we're going to run them at the enemy leader. Now, there are some enemy units, like right in here as well, so something to keep in mind. There's some shades in there. We just can't see them at the moment. We will be able to see them shortly, but right now they are invisible to us. So,
as you say,
these guys in control 1,
understood.
These guys in control 2. Another thing you're going to want to do is put your archers on guard mode. What this does is it makes it so if these guys here run out of range, your archers don't chase them, and then end up like getting smashed by infantry or something as they're chasing. They'll just chill at their spot, fire until the enemy gets out of range, and then you can retarget them, or they'll automatically retarget because they're on fire at will. And everything else we're just gonna... Well, we put these guys on 3, I guess. But everybody else will mostly just be like bandboxing to select, so we don't really need to worry about that too much. Also, if you lock your infantry
White lion.
when you tell them to charge forward, they will charge forward straight, as opposed to, so like, if you have them locked,
Understood.
if you have them locked like this,
Acknowledged.
when they run forward, they'll run forward like this, right? If let's say I'm attacking this guy, say I like click them to attack this guy, they'll run forward like this. Instead of if I have them
Without fail.
unlocked and I click this unit, both of them are going to go straight to that unit and like stack up. So using the
White lions.
toggle group block,
Will be done.
either
We will
through
obey.
clicking it or doing
White
Control
lions.
G,
It shall
either way
be
works,
done.
is a very
White
useful way of helping to control your infantry line. This isn't quite as big a deal with only 2 infantry, but if you have a large amount of infantry, like let's say you've got an entire line of infantry here, right? Having that ability to just be like, charge, and everybody just goes, ah, and not everybody goes, ah, and all like mashes up on one guy. It's way easier. Okay, so we are going to kick this off. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our archers, we're going to start shooting at these harpies, and then we're going to start flanking with our cav. Another reason why I believe that Tyrion is a good start for new players is because you do get some cav. You get chariots
Silver helm.
and silver helms, so you get some practice with these units, right?
Chariots.
You're going to get a little bit of practice with microing, but not in a situation where you have a million units to play with. Like, there's very few units here, right, overall. We have very few units to work with. So having, like, a couple units of horsey boys and chariots allows for a newer player to practice those skills a little bit. But anyways, archers first. Commence firing.
To all. Orders received.
We're gonna have you guys just run at the enemy leader.
Assyrian guides us.
We'll have the chariots
Loyal.
and the calves start coming around the flank.
White lion.
I'll have these. We're
Understood.
going to lock these dudes.
As you
And
say.
as you can see, they're now just charging forward like that.
Heir of Angerrial.
Just going to have those guys focus on the enemy leader. Start bringing the cav around. And like I said, these guys are going to be better against the archers, so we're going to have them charge in there.
As you say. Loyal. Sinner. Going forth.
Tyrion decided to drop his aggro. There we go.
Swiftly.
All right, so he's on the enemy leader. That's good. We're just going to have Tyrion continue to
With me.
run around.
Onward.
Just click a whole bunch,
Marching forth.
get your guy to break through. And we'll take our chariots, and we'll move them around over here to come around behind on those dread spears. Now you can see those guys flew off, so our archers are reacquiring their targets. We'll have our archers next focus on the shades, because those shades are going to be the next most dangerous thing. Meanwhile, we're just going to have our leaders continue chasing those guys around. Our chariots broke through, so we'll have them go over here.
Silver helm. We away.
So spearmen have anti-large, but if they're currently engaged in melee and they're not facing
Eager for battle.
they're not facing
Battle call.
the chariots charging them, that anti-large really doesn't do much for them at all. So you just run them over. This guy's busy fighting all those dudes. We just run at them. All right, so here comes some harpies back. We need to target them
Will
again.
be done. For duty. Without fail.
But as you can see, this is a pretty easy fight. And meanwhile, see, this is why Tyrion's great. This guy is just completely destroyed, right? Tyrion just ran at him, and he died. All right, we're going to try to finish off these harpies as well. Now we basically want to try to finish off as many units as we can, because we want to make sure that after the fight, as few units from this army survive as possible. We're going to leave this guy at low HP.
Archers.
I'll explain to you in a second why we want to do that. All right, what's that? 3? Yeah, that's fine.
Without fail.
Once they get below a certain percentage, they're going to go away anyway. So, like, 3 dudes left of a shade unit, that unit's just toast. It'll be automatically removed at the end of the combat. But otherwise, we just want to chase these guys down, try to run them over as best we can. As you can see, we're still pretty healthy as well. So, all this went pretty darn solid. Now, the reason why we want to leave this guy at this tiny sliver of health is because if any of this army survives, then
Loyal. Sinner. Silver helm.
the army will have no leader if we kill him, and it will get replaced by another leader who will be full strength. If we leave him at, like, 0 health, the army leader won't get replaced by somebody else, so he'll still be at low health for the follow-up battle. So we just want to keep him low. Leave him like that. All the rest of these guys are pretty low, too. This army might... Nah, these guys are going to get off. Those guys are going to get off the board. And they're out. Alright, so that's pretty much going to be this fight. So we will just end the battle here. Alright, so that's the ambush battle. Really easy, obviously. You can see how simple that was. It's a little bit of micro, and a little bit of target acquisition, and we're good to go. Okay, so coming out of the battle here, we can either get money, we can get EXP, or we can heal our guys up. Honestly, we're just going to take
They are free to go.
the 445 gold. It does reduce our casualty replenishment, but that's not that big of a deal because we took, like, no damage. So,
Let them go.
having this for 5 turns, it's not really that huge of a deal. And we could use the extra cash anyway, so we're just going to go with that. So, here is the same battle. It's going to be essentially round 2 of this. Same enemy army, same me. The only difference being is that our ambush failed this time. So they were able to spot us before we could spring our trap. So they went walking through the woods, and they went, oh, geez, there's elves here. And now we're going to have a straight-up fight as opposed to us surprising the Everling crap out of them. So this will be a little bit harder. We'll probably take a little bit more damage. But overall, this should still be a pretty easy fight. So let's get in it.
Sunfang hungers.
Here we are once again on the battle map. Now, like I said, the big difference between this battle and the last battle is the fact that the enemy actually gets to set up this time. They are not just in the middle, waiting for us to shoot them. We actually have to run up there and try to take them on. They also are hiding in the trees a little bit, which is going to make things a little bit more annoying, particularly for our cav and chariots, because they are going to get 20% less movement and 20% less melee attack while in the trees, but we're still going to get some pretty good charge bonus going on, so hopefully that'll be able to make up for it. We are going to take our chariots, and we're going to put them over on the left this time. We'll take our silver helms and put them over on the right. The enemy archers are probably, like, in here, or potentially over here. I can't really see them at the moment, obviously, because of the trees, so we'll have to work with things as we discover them.
White lions.
Infantry can just go here.
As you say.
We just have them set up, and we can just have the leaders go with them. And once we see the enemy leader, then we're once again just going to run at them.
Archers.
These archers here are going to go out on the right-hand flank, because we want to kill these harpies right away. We unfortunately don't get the opportunity to just shoot them right off the bat because they are further back, but we can still walk up, get a good angle, and then let it rip. So that's what we're looking to do there. We are probably going to try to pull the enemy archers and infantry units away or potentially out of the trees as we move our chariots up this way and our silver helms out this way. That might cause the enemy to decide he wants to, like, run his guys out to chase us. If not, it's fine. We'll just get a full flank then and coming around behind and hit him as the infantry pushes up. But that is the plan. Let's execute, shall we? Alright, so infantry moving up. We're going to start shifting the archers around here. Get the silver helms out here. Bring the chariots around on the far left. And we'll get our leaders. Get them going too.
Eager for battle.
Alright, so his archers are here, actually. And they look like they are crossing to the left. So we're going to have to swing our silver helms around a little bit more.
Silver helms.
So we'll bring the silver helms up onto the hill over here. What is the range on these guys? We want to make sure that we do not get within range of these archers with our infantry.
Moving out.
Our guys outrange his guys, so we want to use that to the best of our advantage. We have 180 range. They have like 160, I think. 25, a lot shorter.
Understood. Loyal.
All right, so
as you say.
I'm going to start shooting at these harpies.
Can I be praised? Serve the king.
And we'll just kind of have the chariots chill out here on the hill. We want to deny that mobility from the enemy. If the enemy just has infantry and we have horses that we can use to flex on him, we want to take that and use it to the best of our ability. So, right now, I'm just shooting at these guys. I'm going to speed this up a bit. Alright, slow it back down again.
Acknowledged.
Looks like the Harpies might be running out of horses, which is not particularly great for us.
It shall be done.
Take these guys and move them forward.
As you say.
Yeah, alright, so some of these guys...
Advance.
Some of these guys are heading up the hill towards our chariots.
Servant of light.
Which is fine.
Setting forth.
You guys... We're going to just try to charge. We're going to have these spearmen try to cut off these dread spears. We're going to have these guys charge into the front line here to try to pin people down. And meanwhile, we're just going to bring Tyrion and my other leader around to hit that stuff up. Keep running away from these spearmen because we don't want to get decisively engaged there. Archers can shoot into the sides. Archers can shoot into the sides of the enemy infantry. Keep chasing that down there, while the chariots run at these shades. Alright, so these horses don't need to attack these dark shards because the axemen caught them. Our white lions got on top of them. Alright, you guys just keep hacking away at that. Chariots can keep chasing those shades around. And the archers can keep shooting in the side here. Get a nice rear charge on those spearmen.
Defender of
just keep those guys focused on the enemy leader there, and we're gonna have a little bit of a row here between those guys. Let's pull our silver helms back out again.
Champion of Alaria.
We'll have our silver helms charge these harpies. Oh, never mind, they're taking off again. Alright, so we'll send the chariots over here towards them. Try to bring the silver helms around to hit these shades. And enemy leader is retreating now, so that's good. Enemy leader died. It's fine. It's actually a good morale hit to the opponent, so that will make things end faster overall. Charge those guys down.
Acknowledged.
Gotta be a little bit careful when you have your archers firing from behind your front line because some of your own arrows can hit your guys. Something to be aware of. If you get archers out on flanks, they do more damage.
Understood.
And you have less chance of doing damage to your own dudes. So we're going to chase down these shades. We want to make sure those shades are fully dead. We'd like to kill these dark shards too. The biggest thing we're going to get out of this that's different is we are likely to not kill as many of the enemy. That's like the... It's going to be like the big takeaway here. Is when they retreat, they'll have a few more dudes to work with. These shades are at 2. You don't need to continue chasing them. We're just go over here. Hit these dread spears. Chariots keep chasing the dark shards around. You have the archers shoot at these dread spears. Try to kill as many of them as possible. And we'll just speed this up. We're still going to kill a lot of them. Like, we're going to still be looking pretty good here at the end of this fight. There we go. Yeah, we might actually clean this whole thing up. It's entirely possible. Those harpies might have gotten away. Not sure when they retreated exactly. If they managed to fly off the map or not. Alright, looks good. Let's roll with it. Yeah, the harpies got away. So here we are after this combat. Obviously, a little bit more damage on us. Just ever so slightly. Tyrion took a little bit more. The spearmen took a little bit more. The silver helms took a tiny bit of damage as well. Now, if you're really worried about it, you could do the forced labor thing and get the unit replenishment. But
release them.
We did really well here. They don't have many guys left in general, so we can just go with the ransom captives once again. Get that treasure, get that influence, and we'll call it good. So yeah, as you can see, this fight's still pretty easy. A little bit more difficult. You got to micro a little bit more with your chariots and your silver helms. Got to make sure that you don't get caught by those harpies at any point. Those harpies can actually rip up your silver helms pretty badly, at least on the highest difficulty levels. So just something to be aware of. Try to keep your cav away from the harpies if you can. In general, try to get your archers to kill those guys as quickly as possible. Also, the shades, if they're allowed to just sit there and shoot you, can do a lot of damage. So try to keep those guys pinned down either by shooting at them with the archers if they are close enough, or by just running them over with cav units so they can't shoot at you. Because otherwise, they tend to do a good deal of damage. So, Harpies and Shades, those are like your two big targets. And then third on the list is the Dark Shards. And the rest of these guys can be dealt with fairly easily. And obviously, Tyrion and his buddy over here could just rush down the enemy leader. And there's really nothing the enemy leader could do. Tyrion is just so good at mashing people that the enemy leader is just like, ah, why? And you can just run past all of these Dread Spears and stuff. Like, just run past them. Don't care. Smash face. So, that's what we're looking at here. That's that fight. And now we'll be looking at the last and worst case scenario, which is actually a pretty difficult fight. So, if you could avoid this, I would, honestly. But we'll look at it so you can see how bad it actually is. All right.
They are free to go.
Okay, here we are again. But in a different place, actually. I drank a bunch of coffee, and I think I am ready to kill. So let's do this. Let's take our Silver Helms, and we're going to put them out on the right-hand flank here. And these guys are mostly going to be hunting the enemy Shades when possible. We need to kill those Shades early, because those guys are really, really, really dangerous. And the archers we need to use to kill the enemy Harpies as soon as possible as well.
Archers!
Take these guys and move them slightly back.
Sword of the Asur.
We'll have Tyrion go on the right-hand side here, and we'll have our hero over here go on the left. We'll take our chariots and put them over here as well. So hopefully we'll be able to take these guys, run them around the flank, and find those Shades and kill them, / kill enemy archers. These guys, we'll try to pull them around back here, all the way around the building, and hopefully, because we're outnumbered, any enemy troop that we can get to move out of position is a good thing. So hopefully we'll be able to drag some of the enemy troops back this way to deal with our chariots. And then because our chariots are faster, we can run away from them and be like, ah, no, we don't want to fight you, ah, and then go kill other people. That is the plan, anyway.
Archers!
Is it a good plan?
White lions!
We're about to find out.
Direct me!
But we can take this whole mess, push it up, try to find the enemy Harpies, kill them, try to find the enemy Shades, kill them, and then try to focus down the enemy ranged units as best we can. Well, hopefully our main line is able to hold against the enemy infantry units and the enemy leaders, or leader, I guess, technically. Technically, there's two leaders on the battlefield, because one of them is, like, the garrison commander or whatever, but he's just a regular unit of bleak swords. But the enemy actually has, like, a lord here as well. So we'll have to deal with him. Hopefully we get Tyrion on him to wreck his day. But if that doesn't happen, we will hopefully be able to clean him up at the end of the fight.
Archers!
Spread our archers out just a little bit, so if they get charged, they don't all get engaged at the same time.
It will be done! It shall be done!
And have them on hold position, aka guard mode. And let's do it.
Silver helm!
Alright, so Cav goes out over here. The enemy Harpies
White lions
are on the right.
It will be done.
So we're going to move up here, and we're going to try not to move within range of the enemy archers, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, something the AI does is when they take enough damage, they will charge you. So right now, they're just going to sit here and hang out. Maybe they'll rearrange a little bit. They'll move some guys over here or this way or whatever. They'll change up how they're positioned slightly, but they won't, like, charge you, right? You won't have a bunch of guys running at you until you do a certain level of damage. And then they'll be like, oh, crap, we need to get in there because we're just taking damage for free. So, for right now, I'm able to maneuver a little bit because the AI is passive. So we're going to roll up around here on the left. Those guys. And he's rearranging slightly to look out against my Silver Helms. Now, because of that passivity from the AI, whoever you try to kill right away, like we want to try to kill these Harpies right off. So whoever you try to kill right away,
it shall be done.
You want to make sure that you're actually hitting those guys first, because otherwise you're not going to get the free shots. And we're actually going to take these guys off fire at will, because I don't want to accidentally shoot at somebody
It will be done.
that is not the
For
Harpies.
duty.
I want to get the most damage possible
Loyal.
down on these guys right off the bat.
Loyal.
Also, something you can do if you are hellaciously outnumbered
Without fail.
and the enemy has lots of
Acknowledge.
ranged units. Oh man, this is going to be close.
Archers.
Hang on, I'll finish that
Orders
thought in a
received.
second. I wonder if if I pull these guys around to the right a little bit further, maybe these Harpies will come back around. Let's try that. We'll see if the Harpies come back around. But anyways, like I was saying, something you can do if the enemy has lots of range units is you can take like a
Of
Lord or
Angerrial.
something. You can run them out here and then you can run them back and forth. Just try to use up all the enemy arrows. So that you don't have to deal with the enemy archers at all. Besides meleeing them, obviously, which is pretty easy.
Loyal.
I don't like to do that personally. If you want to do that, go for it. But I don't like it.
Move.
It's not necessarily a judgment in any way, but it's just a personal taste thing. Yeah, we're going to pull these guys back around. Try to get these Harpies
Swiftly.
back into a better position here.
It will march chariot.
Alright, that's the enemy Shades.
Archers.
There we go. Let's engage those Harpies. The Shades are actually engaging us.
Will be done.
Fairly surprising.
White Lions!
Alright, we're going to run you guys up in here.
For Oakland!
There we go.
Archers.
Some damage down on that.
Go.
Charge these guys up.
On me.
Charge you up, and we'll see if we can't get on the enemy leader
I
here.
go.
Okay, so he was just shooting us
Without
with Shades
fail.
because
Moving out!
he was able to
We advance!
We
for a brief
advance.
moment, essentially.
We advance. Quickly now. Setting forth.
Those guys are charging my
Assyrian guides us.
horsey boys, which is not the greatest thing for me, but it does allow my archers to get some more shots off on them, so...
Heir of Anarian!
Alright, you guys push into there.
Move!
Let's try to push you guys into the Shades.
Advance. Moving out. After. Move. We away.
Bring these guys around. Those Harpies are getting fairly low.
After forward.
Try to chase
We
around
away.
these,
Swiftly.
Agreed!
let's charge into that. Try to chase around these enemy archers if we can.
It will be done.
These dudes need to start lighting up.
Seal.
White Lions!
Actually, hang on. Let's have you guys light up those Shades.
For duty.
You guys turn around on that. You run into there.
It shall be done.
You guys charge in on that.
Understood. Orion.
We do have some Harpies coming back, obviously.
Our chariots.
Have you guys charge into these guys here. This is technically the garrison leader, so taking him out would be good. You dudes
Archers.
keep doing damage to those Shades
As
if you can.
said, without fail.
You guys keep chasing down these Dark
It
Shards.
shall be done.
You dudes change targets onto
Carry
that.
on. It is
You
done.
keep chasing these Dark Shards out. If we could push these Dark Shards away, that'd be excellent, honestly.
Our chariots. Orders understood. Setting
Let's bring the Ithamar chariots back in on
Move. At once.
this pack of infantry
We
here.
go. Loyal. Acknowledge.
Charge on in there.
Archers.
Keep lighting up those
Without
Shades.
fail. Assyrian guide.
Okay, we gotta be careful because we do have some spearmen trying to come out here on the flank. This guy is tying up 2 Dark Shards at the moment, which is most excellent. If I could bring the cav around on that, that would be great.
Victory.
So we're gonna try to charge up into this pack here with our chariots. And we're gonna try to have to break free here, it looks like. Okay, you guys, hit that stuff. There we go. Now we do have to watch out for these guys coming back into the fight, right? Alright, you guys change up targets. Let's just hit these Shades.
Shall be done.
So like I said, those are probably the next most dangerous thing out here.
Forward.
Try to break our chariots off again so we get another charge.
Moving out.
See, he's actually running at me. Alright,
We
have the chariots charge those Shades then.
White Lions!
Bring these guys back in.
Assyrian!
Onwards
Keep
to
fighting that.
victory. Orion.
You guys charge those Dark Shards.
It will be done. As you
Alright,
said.
you guys back up
Forward.
here.
For
Shoot at those
Assyrian.
dudes.
White Lions! Pull back!
Alright, we gotta be careful here.
Rapid advance. March.
Alright, you can actually fight these guys. We'll try to break our
Quickly now. Without question.
horsey boys off of this,
Apace.
though, for the
We
moment.
advance. Archers, we will obey. It shall be done.
We got some spearmen running at our archers as well, which is not great.
Silver helm.
Silver Helm's charging on that. Try to hit those infantry.
It will march chariot.
And we'll have these chariots come over here and charge these dread
As you
spears.
say.
Draw back!
It shall be done.
There we go.
Death to all.
So he's going to try to brace
Advance
for my chariots.
for Asturion.
So I'm just going to go around here.
Silver helms. As
You guys run
say.
up here.
Asa forward.
After these bleak
We will
swords.
obey, without question. Asa, move.
And then we're trying to cut over here. We need to get back on the enemy ranged units.
Spearmen.
And these
Without
shades also
question.
rallied.
Asa, attack.
Unfortunate.
Silver helms.
You guys, charge this
Shall
place.
be done.
Go get them. Okay, so those guys are
Chariots.
pretty
Without
much dead,
fail.
so that's good.
Orders received. Move.
Those shades are running back. All right, let's get the chariots up here to help out Tyrion,
Understood.
because he's getting a bit scuffed.
Silver helms.
Try to get on top of these dark shards again.
Moving out.
With our cav. Try to keep those guys tied down so they're not shooting at us.
Loyal. Defending.
All right, and then you
order.
guys can
Setting
move back
forth.
up this way, because there's not really anything threatening our archers anymore.
Quickly now.
So we'll just push
Following
them back up.
orders.
Those guys charge in there.
Without fail.
So we'll run at these harpies real quick. These shades are legitimately, like, no HP.
Draw back.
They just want a piece of us in the biggest way.
Archers.
All
Loyal.
right, Ithamar chariots.
Take off one
Let's try to break
bow.
free here again.
Asturion guides us. Asa,
We just
move.
need to break the enemy morale. If we can break the enemy
Asa,
morale, we win the
advance.
entire fight. So, as long as we can do that,
Understood.
that's going to be the key here.
Oreo. For the king. Asa, forward. Setting forth. Following
Because
order.
we're also fighting in a city, which means
We go.
if we defeat
Ancestors.
the enemy here,
Archers. Orders received.
then their entire force gets destroyed.
Fulmar chariots.
Like,
Asturion
all of the
willing.
bad guys go away if we beat these guys here. My white lions are almost dead, which is not great.
To
And it
battle.
looks like we're breaking a lot of the enemy
Striking
morale right
forth.
now,
Infiltrate
which is good. Lots of enemies running around all over the place.
Asturion.
If we can get in on these dread spears here that are surrounding our guy,
Champion
that'd be great. We'll send Tyrion up here to help out.
For duty.
Shoot at those guys, try to get them chased off.
Ancestors. Ifilmar chariot.
Chariots, go!
Fight is lost.
Steamroll. There we go. So that's going to be some pretty good damage. Run Tyrion up here,
No mercy. Quickly now.
and we'll try to break the chariots free.
Advance.
So what we're going to do here with our archers that are out of ammo,
Archers. It shall be done.
we're going to run them at
Quickly
him.
now. Asa, advance.
See if we can get our chariots free again. So we get another charge in on these dread spears. Thankfully, our chariots are low on health, but they are still 3 chariots,
Heir
so
of Angerrial.
that means they still have a pretty good amount of charge left in them. We gotta make sure we actually get a good charge here.
Acknowledge.
Alright, so we're tying up these guys here
To battle. As you say.
as
It
best
is
we
done.
can. He's got some of those guys. So we're gonna run in here, hit those dudes again, do some good damage,
Asa, move. By
try
your
to chase
command.
these guys off.
For the king.
Our chariots, if we
Oreo.
can.
It shall be done. To the fray.
Come on.
Attack.
Come on. Come on.
Acknowledge.
Go,
Orders
go, go,
received.
go, go.
Pull back. Sail.
There we go.
As you say, doing my duty.
Tyrion still fighting. Those guys are running, but that's fine. The more enemies that get off the board as well,
Sinner.
the better situation we're going to be in.
Others die.
Jeez Louise. There we go. They finally broke.
King.
Oh my gosh.
For order. I won't die here.
Highest battle difficulty level is a pain when it comes to this sort of thing. We need to try to get army losses
Forward. For our ancestors.
on the enemy army, which they should be at here fairly shortly.
Archers.
Those guys rallied, so that's good. That means we can stay on the field a little bit longer.
Setting forth.
Pull these chariots back and try to get another charge going.
I shall.
Tyrion just keeps punching
Be
because
away.
Tyrion is
For
a
the
god.
unseen.
Once these guys actually run off the board, that's going to be a pretty big hit to his morale, so we just have to kind of hang on until that happens. Charge again on these dudes. Oh my gosh, my chariots are so low.
Onward. Quickly now. Moving out. Asa,
What are we
advance.
at? 300 health on my chariots.
Defending order. We advance. Attack.
And they're running. Rip. Alright, let's try to push all these guys back up together in a giant hassle here to help Tyrion out. Tyrion should be able to take a lot of these guys. Those guys are almost off the board.
Heir of Anerion.
And those guys are running.
Annihilate them.
Let you guys shoot at that. Alright, we just need to push these guys off the board, basically.
It will be done.
Ow. So we're going to try to push these guys off so that the army starts taking losses here.
Without fail.
Once you kill enough enemy units, or remove enough enemy units from the board,
as you say,
a thing called army losses kicks in, which is a giant leadership debuff. So we just need to try to get as many enemies off of the board as we can right now. These guys are almost away. That guy is wavering. He's coming back. Is that what's going on? He should go away once these guys get pushed out. We're just going to chase this guy down. Let's go, Tyrion.
Shield of the
Freaking Tyrion running uphill here. Yeah, these guys... Maybe my chariots will come back here. I mean, then we can go run these bleak swords over. But these guys might be enough to cause army losses to happen once they leave.
Sunfang lusts for battle.
battle calls.
Turn back around into this dude. We're going to take a shot to the face, which is going to hurt a lot. Here it comes.
The Reaper. With
There we go. We dodged it.
Destroy them.
Come on, chariots. I believe in you. Alright, so we're on top of this guy. If we get some damage down on him, his leadership might just fail.
Noble. Quickly now.
Gotta be careful that
Advance.
our hero here is not
Moving out.
the guy taking the brunt of the damage. So we'll cycle him around, and then here comes Tyrion
Pull back.
for the big schmacks. Okay, you roll into my archers. That's good.
Archers.
So Tyrion's got some pretty good charge bonus, obviously. And the enemy leader is about to die. There we go. Alright. Oof. Okay.
Ready and able.
Gotta make sure this guy doesn't die.
As one. Defend.
There it is.
One.
Okay, so this is a really hard fight. This is an insanely hard fight. If you're on not the hardest battle difficulty and the enemy legitimately isn't staying on the battlefield with like 12 dudes, these guys just running around in circles, that makes this fight a lot easier. But as you can see, I barely won this. So, hard fight. Winnable, but hard fight. But this is also, like I said, the least likely scenario to happen. Like, I had to try to make this happen without restarting, like, freaking 50 times or something like that. So, again, you could be the most unlucky person in the universe and just get this the first time you go out and try this. But if you don't feel confident in your ability to fight this fight, just restart turn 1, do it again, get the ambush. That simple. Alright, so that's this fight. Woohoo. Hope you enjoyed it. Pyrrhic victory. Yes, indeed. Let's see how many units we actually have left. Did we lose anyone? Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, so another issue with this fight is that you have to attack the city, which means you get less battles. And because you get less battles, you get less money. So if you fight somebody down here in an ambush and beat them up, and then you come up here and take the city, that means you get post-battle loot for this fight and this fight. If you only do one fight, where you get both the armies, you get less cash out of the situation. So you're going to have a worse economy here too. So not only is this battle harder and you're going to take a bunch of damage and it's going to be super stressful. My chariots are full health. I love the way model healing works in this game. So you're going to have less money overall. So harder fight, less money. This is just a bad scenario in general. But winnable, entirely winnable. Okay, so we are done with that nonsense, and now we are back into our original save file, the one where we succeeded in our ambush. As you can see, normally your guy would be here. Right here, in the 70% ambush spot. I had moved him up to check something out real quick, and, yeah, legendary saves all the time, so he's just a little bit further up than he normally would be. Everything will be the same, it's just that instead of here, he's here. So, nothing really different other than that. First off,
At your service.
you will see you've gained some levels. So, Tyrion level 2. Neat. We'll get Root Marcher. because that gives us 10% campaign movement range, and that's overpowered. Boop. There we go. And then with Tyrion
Light
here,
will drive back the darkness.
Tyra, I guess, we will go and get replenished troops, because that increases the amount of troops you get back in the army he's currently embedded in per turn, and that's also really strong. The ability to move across the map is insanely strong. The ability to regenerate your troops is insanely strong. The ability to see things is insanely strong. So anything that increases your campaign movement range, your troop replenishment, or the ability to see on the campaign map, those are all things that are really, really good.
The
So,
Druki are no threat.
Tyrion just does not give a crap about the Druki, apparently. No. He's over here insulting them ceaselessly. Okay,
Shield against the
so here's
darkness.
something else you could do. Is, see the Shrine of Assyrian up here, right? It's a burnt down city. You can search ruins with both lords and heroes.
Ready for orders.
So this guy's a hero, right? And because we did so well in the last fight,
I
we
was
don't really
born
need
for
him for
greatness.
this upcoming fight. So what we could do is we can pop him out and send him up here. It's going to cost us 450 gold to search the ruins,
I will do my duty.
but this will give him some EXP. And
I have
also,
done well.
we're going to get this Cuboid of the Old Ones puzzle. I will link in the description a guide to how to do all these puzzles, as well as a, well, it's going to be the same guide, but, so the top of the guide will basically have how to do all the puzzles if you want to do them yourself, and then the bottom of the guide will have all of the answers to these puzzles if you don't care and you just want to have the answer and have the solution to the puzzle. This one's pretty easy. Question mark is here. It's the thing we're looking for. It is at the end of this little face here and the backside of this thing. So we look at these other cubes and go, okay, little face, we can't really see there, but this thing here, the backside of it is the square, so it's the square. Boop. And that's going to give us some money. So we spent 450 gold, but we got 1,000 out of it, so we gained money, and we got an item. So, very cool. Help Discord is quite good. Also, because we did that, we gained another level. So now we can go to him.
What do you require?
Click on him here. We can't get any more replenished troops. So Weapon Master is pretty solid. We're going to be using him in combat some more, so let's do that. So now he is done moving.
Your request.
He is expended. Now, if you search a ruins, you cannot colonize the ruins in the same turn. So that's why we want to do it this turn. If we were to do it next turn, then we would not be able to capture the Shrine of Assyrian. So what we're going to be looking to do over here is take Tyrion
The Reaper.
and go to Angerrial,
Elf 1.
run him up there.
To victory.
The enemies that are outside the city are going to reinforce. We want to try to make sure to kill these guys. And we'll obviously take these dudes out. And this should be a pretty darn easy fight once again. So a couple easy fights coming up. Getting a decent amount of cash out of it. So let's go.
Sunfang hungers.
Well, this place sure looks familiar, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm not going to bore you too much
Understood.
with any of the stuff that I already went over
Loyal.
in the fight that we did here. That's
Archers.
way harder than the fight that we're going to do now. It's going to be a lot of the same stuff. Chariots, Cav, Tyrion.
Heir of Anlec.
We're just going to be down a hero unit, essentially, but we are also not outnumbered 2-1, so we got that going for us, right? These guys, hold position, we'll put them on 2, and we'll put these guys on 1, and then we're just going to walk at the enemy and murder them. Like I said, we want to make sure that these reinforcements that are coming on, that we kill them, because if they survive, they could cause us some extra heartache in the long run if that army is running around behind our lines and just being annoying. So try to kill these guys. There's only 2 units there, so we should be able to kill them with a cav plus like Tyrion or potentially our chariots or whatever. So just make note of what units these are and make sure that they die. There should only be a couple of them, so let's go.
Loyal.
We're just gonna push up here
Loyal.
again. Run the chariots around the left-hand side.
Valarial.
Bring the silver helms on the right. And he only has 2 archer units this time. Way better than before, right? Let's go, Tyrion. You know he's serious. He's got the rundown.
Without fail. Understood.
Right, we'll move a little bit closer here.
Sir. Advance.
Like I said before,
Moving out.
we are longer range than them,
As you say. As you say.
so we can take advantage of that. And he will sit here passively until we do enough damage to him
We will obey.
to get
Will be done.
him to charge forward.
Orders received.
Just commence firing on his Dark Shards because they are some of the highest DPS units that he has. And these guys are going to be slowly moving in on us as well. Let's keep moving the chariots around to the back side. And we can speed this up because we're basically just shooting arrows until he decides he wants to come at me. And okay, here he comes. So we're going to lock formation on these guys and have them charge. We'll have Tyrion run forward as well. Just have him run into those guys, I guess. And then we will bring in the horsey boys. And we will start to try to flank with our archers on each side here. Try to catch all these spearmen if we can. You guys charge in there. Have you guys charge in there.
We will obey.
And let's have you guys fire at those dudes. Now try to get the archers out on the flank, like I said, so we can fire into the sides of these guys. Do that extra damage.
Serve the king.
Let's run through those guys, and then we'll just quickly turn over here and run these guys over as well. Yay, chariots. And then these guys can change targets and run those Dark Shards over.
Move! Assyrian guides us.
But yeah, as you can see, we're getting those side shots with the archers now, which means the enemy shields are not going to do us any harm.
March! Loyal.
Keep running these Dark Shards over. We're hitting these guys in the side too because some of them are sticking out on the edge. Just keep messing with people that way. And we're going to take Tyrion here, and we're actually going to run him at the enemy leader because I don't think we need him anymore over here.
Battle calls.
Let's bring the chariots back. We'll run these dread spears over.
Yes. For order.
And we'll keep running Tyrion
Loyal.
at the enemy leader.
Make oath one.
Run these dudes over. Actually,
For the king.
yeah, we'll run these dudes over. These guys don't matter.
Silver helm.
Once they start retreating, we can just let them run because they're part of the city garrison, and the city garrison will be destroyed at the end of the fight, provided that we win, right?
Chariots.
All right, so we'll run those guys over just to make sure that they get off the map.
Forward. Forward.
These guys go here, have them charge these bleak swords, and then Tyrion. Just gotta give that guy the chops. These are the dread spears here that we care about dying. We want to make sure those guys go down. Let's see. Our white lions are kind of blocking our shots here. All right, that's a lot of guys retreating. All right, we need to send the chariots. We need to send the chariots and the horses up here to try to finish these guys off. We need to make sure that this unit of dread spears dies and that this leader dies as well. So we'll get him with the horsey boys, and we'll get these guys with the chariots. We can speed this up though, because it shouldn't be too difficult to get these guys dead, or at least to the point where, there we go, that guy's dead. Let's go run at them. And they're gonna get low here anyways. 22. Once they get down to like 5, it doesn't really matter anymore. Oh. Go, go, go. And yeah, okay, they're just dead. And that'll be that. Wham bam. So there you have it, another glorious victory for Uthwan. So here we are sitting at the settlement captured window. Now there's a few things you could do here. You can either sack the settlement, you can loot and occupy the settlement, or you can just occupy the settlement. If you just occupy the settlement, you'll take over what's there. The buildings will not be broken or anything along those lines, unless they were previously broken before you got there. In this case, that wasn't what happened, so we can just capture it, and our buildings will be good to go. You can loot and occupy, which will give you some replenishment and some money, but it will also break the buildings and cost you a bunch of public order. So We don't really want to do that for 475 gold. That's not worth at all. Or you could sack the settlement, which will again hurt your public order, but it will give you more money and some casualty replenishment, which is kind of nice. Or you can raise the settlement, which burns the settlement to the ground, but we want to actually capture this because we want to have this for our region, so there's no reason for us to raise it. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you are capturing settlements is that if you straight up sack a settlement, not loot and occupy, straight up sack a settlement, you will get the money from it and wreck the buildings, and then your guy will move just a little ways back off the city. He'll basically just move outside of the zone of control of the city, the red circle that appears around armies and cities. He'll just back out of that. Though if you still have enough movement, you can move back into the city and capture it. So if you have a settlement that's worth a ton of money to sack, like 20 grand, then it could be worth your time to do that. In this case, it's not worth our time, because legitimately, if we sack the settlement and then occupy it, it's going to cost us more money to fix the buildings in the settlement than the money we're going to get for sacking it. So make sure if you do this little trick, you aren't costing yourself more money than you got out of it in the first place. So we're just going to occupy.
We have captured it.
There we go. And the camera spins back around. All right, so we got this guy who decided he wanted to sail out here, right? So he came from the Tower Lysean. This is that other army I was talking about earlier. He decided he wanted to pop out this way to try to see if he can come around and help out his buddy, but his buddy's dead now. So very likely he'll just run back to the Tower Lysean because he's like, ah, crap. I don't know if we can even see. No, we can't actually even see what he has in his army at the moment. Let's take a look at our city here. So this has a hamlet and a port. The port gives us money and increases the growth of the province. That is incredible. Ports are very good for High Elves. Ports are usually pretty good in general. There are a couple factions where ports kind of suck, but in general, ports are very, very strong. Tyrion also gained another level, so we're going to look at this. And then we're going to start in on the red skill tree, because that gives us bonuses to our units. Now, we could give Tyrion bonuses to make him more of a god, but he's already a god, so this is kind of a waste. We want to try to get his units stronger. So we'll get Inspiring Presence, which this one's not very useful. +5 leadership aura. Woo! Unless you have really bad leadership in your units, which the Elves do not. Inspiring Presence is essentially just a gating mechanism to getting this other stuff. So, there we go. Tyrion with that level. And then we can go back down here to Lothern.
High Elven Archmage.
And because we destroyed that barracks in the last turn, we can go to our infrastructure buildings. And we're going to get a homestead, which will increase the growth of the region and the replenishment rate of our guys that are currently hanging out anywhere in the region. So the reason you want to get growth is because growth allows you to upgrade your cities faster. The faster you get growth, the faster you can upgrade your cities, provided you have the money for it as well, right? We're going to go with that. Boom. Get some growth going. And that way we can upgrade Lothern faster and also upgrade these other cities too. Now we can go to our technology because we have finished Military Advancements 1. The sucky technology that does nothing for us. And we will want to take Archery Prowess, because reload reduction time on our archers equals more arrows in bad guys. The rest of this stuff, like this one's pretty okay, and this one's pretty okay, but Archery Prowess is the best out of all these. Like, you're not going to have Sea Guard, and we're not going to build Reavers, so boom, there we go. Now we go back down to
Weaver of Spells.
Gandalfa, and we grab a couple spearmen and another archer unit. So basically we're going to be looking at 3 and 3 for now. And then we can go over here and look at the diplomacy once again. When you start a campaign, the diplomacy that you have with people around you is randomized to a certain extent. So we actually got some really bad die rolls when it comes to how much people like us. Usually people like us quite a bit more than this. But this was like absolutely... Well, maybe not the absolute worst, but this is pretty bad. Normally, you might be able to get a trade agreement with Illyrian, but in this case, that is not going to happen. We might be able to
Protector,
get
I bid you welcome,
non-aggression
traveler.
pacts with them, though. We'll
What
see.
would misguided?
No,
Can I
Calvo probably
offer?
won't take it either.
petition and
Misguided.
No. Alright, so we just have to keep our eyes on them. They should like us more for killing more Dark Elves. And Safari we really have to be aware of because they don't like us a lot at all. So, just gotta keep our eyes on this. And we'll probably have to send some influence their way once we get enough. We have 1 influence right now. But once we are able, we might need to shunt some in their direction just to keep them from trying to kill us. Though that should be it for turn 2. Let's run the turn tracker. Here we are, turn 3. We get to take a little break here for a couple of turns, do some admin stuff, and get ready to siege the Tower of Lysean. But for the moment, we have this quest over here, which, if we succeed, we get the Heart of Averlorn, which is really, really nice. Gives us some melee defense, some magic resistance, and also a burst heal to Tyrion if he gets low, so he's already really strong. Now he's even harder to kill. Unfortunately, though, we need to capture the Phoenix Gate to get this item, which is really far up here. Obviously, this is a bit of a hike. You have to walk from all the way down here, all the way up. Though, don't worry, we will get this in this 20-turn guide. So, just keep watching, and we'll show you how to get your hands on the Heart of Averlorn. But that is quite far in the future. So for the moment, we are going to take Tyrion over here.
Shield against the darkness.
And we're going to run him up to the Shrine of Asuryan.
Onward.
There we go. Put him in the Shrine of Asuryan. It's going to cost us 204 soldiers and 2.2k to colonize. But
Shield of
we do
Alaric.
indeed want to do that, so we are going to hit that up. And that also unlocks the Invocation of Isha, which we don't have the money to do anyways, but we also don't care about doing that, so it's fine. We'll take this guy
Attention.
and shove him back into Tyrion's army,
I am a fount of knowledge.
so we can heal our units more in a single turn, because we have that sweet, sweet
Tyrion.
casualty replenishment. Right there. And then
Champion
the Shrine of
of the
Asuryan as well.
Everqueen.
We are going to go and repair it, because it's just a burning pile of rubble at the moment. So we're going to fix that up. And then we're going to go down here to
Magic
Lothern,
in purest form.
and we're going to pick up a couple more archers, because that's all we can afford. Grab 2 more archers. That'll give us a lot of DPS going forward, or when we go after these guys here. These dudes here are just building. So they're just building units. But don't worry, we got them. We'll take them out. And that is it. That's turn 3. Super simple, right? Boom. All right, turn 4. Another admin turn. We have Tyrion up
Protector
here
of the
gaining
Everqueen.
another level, so we're going to go here. And we are going to go with Bowmaster, because this gives our archers more ammunition, and eventually it'll give us more reload time reduction, which, once again, equals more arrows into people's faces. So, Bowmaster. And then we are also
Servant
going to
of the
take
king.
Tyrion, and we're going to head him down here to Lothern. But
Scholar
before we do that,
supreme.
we're going to take Gandalfa, and we're going to shunt her
Pure
across the river.
magic.
Shield against the darkness.
And then we're going to take Tyrion here
we shall not rest.
and run him
Tyrion, heir
right
of
up
Angerrial.
next to her. Here we go. And take her.
Azure sorcerer.
And then we're going to take and hand over all of these units to Tyrion. Now, there's a couple reasons we want to do this. One is we want Tyrion to have these units. Right? Pretty simple. 2 is Tyrion makes all of these guys 50% cheaper in the upkeep. So we're going to get more money per turn if these guys are in Tyrion's army instead of Gandalfa's army. So
Seeking a trial.
hand all those guys over,
Ready for orders.
and then we will take Tyrion and throw him into
Garrisoning.
Lothern.
Champion of the Ever Queen.
And let's have Gandalfa hang out over here. We also are getting raided a bit, but that's fine. Doesn't matter. And these guys should not be brave enough to push down here to try to take us on with our garrison and everything as well. Let's take a look at our diplomacy real quick. Make sure everybody is... Alright, so Illyrian's getting a little bit more upset. Kaldor is getting a little bit more upset. And Safri's getting a little bit more upset. So, keep our eye on that. Make sure nothing too crazy occurs. But that is actually it for turn 4. Boop. Alright, here we are in turn 5. Now, this is another turn where we're not going to be fighting anybody, but we are going to get set up to fight somebody next turn. Or actually, in between the turns, and it's another, like, 5.5 sort of situation. So, we're going to take
Protector
Tyrion up here.
Queen.
And we're going to put him into
As
regular
you
stance.
command.
And now, if you want to see the movement range on your guy, obviously you have this yellow line, but also you can right-click and drag. And you can see on the left, you can look over there and see the percentage of movement going up and down, right? And you have a little bit more control over this line. Figure out exactly where you want to put somebody. So we want to take Tyrion. Quiet, elves. Oh, wait, we're elves, too. Quiet, dark elves. Heathens. Alright, we want to go to here, in between the yellow line and this little, like, posty thing. So we're just going to walk out there. We're going to set Tyrion right on the edge, because I am still in my territory, which allows me to regenerate some of my troops at the beginning of my turn. We're going to grab Gandalfa, and we're going to run her up here into these trees.
Archmage marches.
So she's going to chill out in the trees right there. Boom. She can't move any further than this because Tyrion's in the way. Now, if you wanted to get, like, super fancy and be like, ooh, look at my cool tactics,
Tyrion,
you could grab Tyrion here and put him in ambush
Lying
stance. And then if he succeeded at his ambush, then he would be able to probably kill one of these guys relatively easily. But you're going to be able to kill them relatively easily anyway. So this is just way too fancy. The reason why this happens, though, is because if they don't see him, they'll just see her out here and be like, oh, look, a target that is easy to kill. A lone mage just chilling. And then they'll run into Tyrion, and Tyrion will be like, aha! I was in the trees this entire time. But we don't need it. We do not need to do that. They already think they're stronger than us, which is incorrect. So they'll come to us. We don't need to get all weird with it. But that is a strategy you can use, so keep that in your back pocket. Think about it when you're looking at forces that you may not be able to take easily. Just set up an ambush and let them come at you, and then take one out at a time. With our little bit of cash here, we're going to go and we're going to upgrade this manor so we get more growth, because we want to upgrade Lothern as a city as fast as possible, because that also is tied to how fast we can upgrade the harbor of Lothern, which gives us a bunch more money and trade goods and more growth and a whole bunch of good stuff. So we want to try to get this leveled up as quickly as we can. And that right there, my friends, that's it. It's turn 5. All right, here we go. 5.5. Away! There they are. All right, so like I said, they think they are stronger than us, which the balance power says they are slightly stronger than us. This is a total lie. Do not believe it for a second, and we'll show you exactly why this is. Also, if you do not have the DLC to have the caster lord, the archmage here, do not worry. You can just get a princess or a prince, and it'll work just fine. As a matter of fact, we are going to fight this fight, and we are not going to use any magic spells. She's going to be a caster, and she's going to cast no magic. I'll explain to you why we want a caster, and particularly a metal caster, in the fight, because it makes it easier, but in no way do we actually need the caster. It's just like icing on the cake. So again, if you do not have the DLC required to have the archmages, that's fine. Just get a prince or a princess, and you'll still be able to clear this fight with ease. Okay, let's go.
I lust for battle.
Back on the battle map. This is why we play Total War. Alright. So, guys are all lined up here. We do not want them here. We want them over here. because there's this nice little hill that we can kind of utilize. We got a rock over here to secure one of our flanks, and there's a whole bunch of dudes coming at us, so the less troops we have to use to secure our flanks, the better. We will use this terrain feature. That's why God put it there. Okay. Take you guys. We're going to spread you out here. Put the white lions on the right-hand flank. And we'll take our archers, and we'll put them back here. Take some of them, put them out here a little bit further on the right, so if we need to move them around and, like, get some flank shots, we can do that.
For duty!
Also, I didn't bring this up earlier, but now that we're actually getting a good amount of units, and I'm sure you've seen me doing this, you might be asking yourself, how does he do this? When you take units and move them, you can move them around like this, right? You can just drag them like this to get the formation, but you want to have them in formation. Have all the units you want to select. Hold down the Alt key, and then hold down left click. Not right click, left click. And then you can drag it around like this. And you can put them wherever you want. So if you want to take your entire formation and drag it around, you can do that. Super easy. And if you hold both Alt and Control at the same time, you can spin the formation. So that makes movement on the map a lot easier. If you didn't know that, that'll make your life a lot simpler going forward when you have a lot of units to control at one time. Take our cav, put it out on the flank where they can be best used. And then we'll put these guys out front.
Shield of the Everqueen.
Tyrion and his melee specialist friend over here. Mr. Noble, if that is your real name. And then we'll have our mage coming on from back here. We'll move her up. Again, like I said, we're not going to cast any magic spells with her, so we don't really care about this Winds of Magic thing. Usually, if it is below 15, I'll gamble. So I usually wouldn't gamble with this, because it maxes out at 30 anyway, so you got like 50% magic there, so it's pretty okay. Start the deployment. And right off the bat here, we're going to grab everyone.
Heir of Angerrial.
And we hit start battle. And we're going to scoot our dudes over to the left. Again, like I said, we want to use this rock formation to our advantage. Now, the big thing that's going to make this fight easy for us is because the enemy thinks they have an advantage. So they're going to spot us and be like, oh, look! Bad guy! Get him! And these guys back here are still coming on the board, right? All those reinforcements are way the heck back here. But these guys want a piece of me. So they're going to start lining up to come after me, right? These guys chilling over here. So these guys are going to move forward, and then we'll be able to chump them before their reinforcements actually reach the line.
Orders received.
Kind of do some minor adjusting here, get these guys aimed out a little bit better.
It will be done.
Yeah, see, here they come. And where's our caster at? Alright, she's still moving up. Let's move her to there. And we are just going to speed this up right now, because we don't need to sit here and wait for them to walk very, very slowly at us. I don't know why this guy's going back the other way. That's very odd. Okay, computer. Here they come, and we can start engaging.
It will be done.
Put these guys on control too,
Orders
and guard mode
received.
them real quick so they don't go chasing after people.
For the king.
The enemy dark
By
shards
your
are their highest
command.
DPS, so we want to focus those guys down
Serve the king.
first.
For order.
And if we have extra arrows that we don't know what we're doing with, we'll just target some of these dread spears with them. And then we can swing these guys around the flank also.
Noble. Forward.
Angle those guys back out.
Onwards to
Push these guys
victory.
forward. So if we can catch the enemy line with
Moving out.
our single
As you
units,
say,
which
happen
are
to
really
some.
strong in melee combat, we have the advantage that our archers will be able to get good side shots
By Alariel.
in on all these units, because we don't have our infantry getting in the way, right? So Tyrion
Loyal.
and the Noble are both really, really strong. So this is a nice target-rich environment for our archers.
Loyal.
So once those guys get all messed up, which they are,
To the fray.
we can just retarget our archers on this.
Disciple of Hoa.
And then we can have
To
our
the fray.
cav units go chase down those retreating archers just to make sure that they get off the board. Now also, if you have this going on, if we were going to be casting magic spells, this Searing Doom spell doesn't do like any damage to Tyrion or this noble. So we just blast them guys with this AoE
Loyal ancestors.
while they are trying to deal with Tyrion and the noble, which sounds like a band name. Maybe it is. Freaking high elf rockers over here. Okay, you guys come back into the line. Let's let the archers keep flanking.
Awaiting order.
And we'll have Tyrion
Ulfwin.
and Noble run up here and start smacking those guys around. We want to try to keep our horsey boys disengaged from this mess. Don't lose control of your cav and let them get killed by a bunch of spear dudes, because that would not be cool. And not be very cash money of us. We're going to take our archers here and we're going to tell them to halt. So they'll stop shooting for the moment. We don't want them to waste a whole bunch of arrows. We gotta wait for the rest of these guys to show up, right? So basically what we're doing with our cav right now is we're just trying to make sure that those units that are broken are actually shattered and fully retreating off the board. Well, those guys just kicked everyone crap out of this leader. He's how he's isolated right now. He's waiting for all these other guys to show up.
Heir of Angerrial.
Alright. We can take this entire force as well. We can shift it forward here slightly.
Shall be done.
And then we can take our archers and we can click them back on fire at will.
Loyal.
Because the enemies are getting close.
Noble born.
Our noble is taking some serious damage here. He got some pretty lucky.
Heir
He got some pretty
of
lucky hits on me.
Angerrial.
It's fine. He'll be okay.
Ifilmar chariots.
Let's move you guys back around.
We advance.
Swing back around here. He'll probably even rally. We can charge into these spears.
To the fray.
Try to break those guys.
Weapons ready.
And then we'll just pull through over here.
Assyrians fire!
And once again, no magic cast. She just be chilling. But we have a lot of enemy spearmen all caught up on Tyrion right now. And Tyrion, once again, God
without
status.
fail.
So he's cool.
Battle call.
He can just keep chilling.
Ifilmar chariots.
He did rally some dark shards. These guys as well, though, are currently surrounding Tyrion, which makes them an easy target for my horsey boys.
By your command.
Those guys are running, so we don't got to worry about them bracing. So we can still do full charge damage to them.
For battle. For order.
For you to actually get the bonus against the cav charge, you have to be braced, which means you have to be not moving
Following order.
for about 2 seconds. So if you see a spear unit moving, you can still charge it and get the full charge bonus. These guys are just kind of engaging us here a little bit on the front line. Let's take these guys and move them back up the hill slightly, so we get better shots on this front line.
It shall be done.
Bring you guys out here, and we can also take these archers and swing them out.
Move. Onward. To battle.
Stay away from me.
Swiftly.
Be careful for that. The computer's tricksy.
Acknowledge. As you say, Asur, advance.
But Tyrion's cool. He's just doing his thing. And we're just continuing to shoot arrows. And we got this nice high angle now. See, we backed up this hill here. So that now we have this nice high angle to drop arrows in on people. Bring the spearmen in on that flank.
Archers.
And we can bring these archers. Actually, hang on a second. We'll just let the archers chill here.
Destroy them.
Where are our horsey boys at? Okay, there we go.
Loyal. Moving out.
Now the enemy leader's coming back.
Battle awaits.
Punch him in the face.
Ifilmar chariots.
Let's go see if we can't help bail Tyrion out here a little bit. It looks like the enemy's leadership's collapsing anyways, but, you know. Tyrion's got 2 leaders trying to kick his ass.
Silver helms.
Not that I'm overly concerned, but, you know.
Assyrian guides us.
Trying to lose too much HP on him.
Without fail.
Like I said, super easy fight. And if we would have been able to cast
True magic is mine.
this,
Get out of here.
to do a bunch of extra damage,
By Alarius.
would have been even easier. We also didn't even use the mage from melee combat, so if we would have had a princess or a prince, we would have had somebody running around to do melee combat as well, to assist Tyrion and
Direct me.
Tyra?
Quick time.
Still
On me.
messed that name up.
We go.
I guess it's Tyra.
Asar noble.
But we're just gonna chase people down here, so here, put this on fast speed. We try to kill as many of these guys as we can, so that in the follow-up fights, there's not a bunch of random dudes standing around, causing us problems. Get them, horsies! Bah. It's the sound horses make. Bah. Probably not. And almost cleaned them up. Almost cleaned them up. All these guys basically have no health, and that's good enough. All right, cool. back to the campaign map. And we're back. Close victory, by the way. Totally close. He lost 1,165, and I lost 110. Yep. We did shoot a lot of arrows, though. Because arrows are people, this is why we end up with a close victory. Makes all kinds of sense. Anyways, these guys are going to retreat, and
let them go.
We're going to do ransom captives because there's no reason not to. Turn 6, and we have our first intrigue at court. These are just neat little things that pop up randomly at the beginning of the turn that allow you to get more influence or potentially spend some influence to get things like Happy Populace or more growth. Here you get plus 20, but it makes your populace angry, or you could spend some money and get a little bit less influence. Honestly, if this was a just regular playthrough, I would be like, oh yes, so Dissent, because our public order is going to be pretty good in Lothern anyway, so -5 for 5 turns, not a problem, and we get plus 20 influence. But because these are random and there's no guarantee which one you're going to get, usually you can net at least plus 10 influence in a turn. So I'm going to select the plus 10 one so that it gives a better overall for what you might expect in a campaign, even though, like, if you get one of these where it's like, oh you get plus 20, then you're going to be better off. So I just want to try to give us the most even-handed deal for any situation, so we're going to go with the plus 10. Boom. Influence. Woohoo! And we got our archery prowess finished, so that means we have reload time reduced by 15% for our archers. More deeps. All the deeps. We'll deal with that in just a moment, though.
Corruption makes them weak.
Let's go to Tyrion here. And Noble gained a level. We're going to get Speed of Asuryan because that gives melee defense 3 and speed 5. You see, this here just gives melee defense 3. So this 1 point gives 2 things. Instead of getting like plus 3 melee attack or plus 3 melee defense, we will get both speed and melee defense, because melee defense is great. So there's that. And we can take
High Elven Archmage.
good old Gandalfa here.
Seeking a
Roll
trial.
her up to just down the road. Obviously, she can't move up any further because of the zone of
The
control.
fallen ones
You
outnumber
can see that
us.
red line there.
Servant
And then we'll
of the
take
king.
Tyrion and go smash the Tower of Lysean.
No mercy.
We're doing combat first
Alariel.
because combat gives us money, so there's not really a lot of reason to do a whole bunch of admin things before we do combat, seeing as how we're going to end up with more cash anyway. So we could go like build buildings and then do fights and then build more buildings afterwards because now we have more money. But instead we'll just do the fights right away, and then we'll get to building buildings, doing art technologies and stuff like that. And this is the last settlement they have. Let's take them out, shall we?
I am ready to fight.
I'm ready to murder these guys too, Tyrion. Let's go. Alright, let's get to fighting. I mean, elf noises. What the heck elves do? Scream a lot, I guess.
White
So,
lion.
wah! Okay, let's get our guys set up. Over here, we're also at 14, and we're not going to cast any magic spells here either, so we're just going to start the deployment. We got a neat little hill over here that we can take up position on. That'll give our archers
Archers,
a better angle of fire, and also because they're on a hill, they do more damage,
for duty.
and the enemy does less damage shooting up at us, which is a
White lions.
nice little extra advantage we have. So
Archers,
we'll just set up like this for right now. The enemy doesn't have
you
much,
say.
so we don't have to get, again, super complicated at all.
it is time to
You guys
lower
go there,
noble
you guys go
ball.
there. And my mage will be coming out from over here. We'll just take her and run her over, and everything should be all hunky-dory. But looking good. We can start.
White lion,
Just make sure that we're angled properly against the foe. Take these guys and run them out on the left, so we can swing around, as always. And then we'll take our mage and bring her over, so she doesn't get randomly attacked by somebody. Even though, like, everybody here is slow infantry, so she can probably just run away from them. Though it is Gandalfa,
Unlimited power.
and she does have that negative 15% speed, so she's a little bit slow.
it shall be done.
Bad cardio. We can also speed this up. Just wait for them to move within range. Seeing as how they're moving kind of slow as well. There we go, they're in range.
Understood.
Now going to take our archers
Seal.
and target his dark shards.
Ancestors, Seal!
Again,
Understood. Acknowledged.
take those guys out as fast as possible.
Loyal. On me.
Advance!
Gonna catch some arrows here,
Spearmen.
but our spearmen have good shields. We have 55% arrow block,
Dark cover.
so if they are going to shoot at our spearmen, that is very good for us overall. Still gonna hurt, but could hurt more.
Acknowledged. Forward.
Bring the horsey boys around,
I will not tarry.
walking her over there, and then the enemy is gonna group up on
Lord bless.
our noble and
Sunfang
Tyrion
lusts for battle.
once more.
Move.
They are quite happy to take those guys on.
Archers. Orders
Let's
received.
change our fire up here to shoot at these spearmen,
We will obey.
and then we'll bring our cav in to clean up these archers that are retreating.
Kadai be praised.
We got some spearmen here too. A little bit careful for them. Enemy leaders are also hanging out. All right, well, those guys are running, like full on running at this point.
Hacker. Move.
And our archers are wrecking shop
Time to go.
on these dread spears.
Without fail.
Oh, I'm not even really sure if we're gonna need the cav.
Asa. Forward.
That's why archers and spearmen are so strong. Like, you just front line here and shoot the everything crap out of everything in front of you.
Heir of Angerrial.
I mean, Tyrion's also ridiculous.
Asa.
So you can basically just stand out there and not have to care about most things. Which is also quite handy.
Chariots.
Heir of
And
Angerrial.
if you ever want to retarget your archers easily, you need to hit backspace to hold fire and then turn off fire at will and turn it back on again. Your guys will
Loyal.
drop their targeting, essentially. So if you have your guys locked onto some units and you just want them to quickly retarget, just hit backspace, turn off fire at will, turn it back on again, and they'll start shooting whatever's in front of them.
Get to war.
You don't have to re-click a bunch of things randomly. Quick 30. Okay. Enough of this nonsense. Get me out of here. There we go. And we're just going to occupy
Keep
this settlement.
your wits about the gods are pleased.
And that unlocks the invocation of Assyrian, which we are going to use. And we have secured the entire province of Eataine as well. And the Cult of Excess is destroyed. So lots of things going on here. Also, we got some items. We're going to do this real quick, though.
Shield against the darkness.
We're going to go to Tyrion, and we're going to unequip his items. And do you have any items? No, no items, no followers.
High Elven Archmage.
And we're going to unequip this as well. Seeing as how items are entirely random as to what you get, we're just going to
An archmage
unequip
is
all
accustomed-
items that are not like purple items, which are guaranteed if you complete the quests for them. So we'll just take those off right now. And that way, obviously, if you get items as you go, things will once again be easier for you than it is for me here. So, proof of concept, essentially, is what we're looking at. We're going to go
Shield of Alaria.
to Tyrion, and we're going to get more Bowmaster because we want to have our archers kill more things. We're going to go to our Noble, and we're going to get that second point in Replenish Troops, so we can get more guys back in a single turn. And
I bring
Gandalfa here, she is leveled up. I just want to put a point in Searing Doom, I guess, and then we are going to disband her. Boom, there we go. That'll increase our per turn cash, and we do not need her anymore. She has served her purpose. And
The
now we're
people
going to go over
are
here
rested.
to Lothern, and go down here, and get the Rebuild Lost Splendor, which will reduce our construction costs and increase our growth. This will not go into effect until next turn. So, right now, we are just not going to build anything because it's going to reduce the costs of our structures next turn. Not this turn, next turn. Also, go over here to the Invocation of Assyrian, which will give us 2 influence per turn and reduce our construction costs by 15% for all buildings, and also give us +4 public order, which is pretty dope. Hit that up real quick. Fancy. We're also going to take a look at our tech, and we're going to go for Trumpeters here now, which is going to give our Spearmen, Archers, Sea Guard, which we don't have, Rangers we don't have, some units we don't have. So, Spearmen and Archers. two most important units in the game at the moment, so we're going to give them an extra 5% speed. Boom. We're also going to go over here to Tyrion,
Orders.
and we're going to build some spearmen. You can only get 2 at the moment, but that is totally fine. And we can go to our intrigue at court, and we're going to start buttering up Averlorn. Improve those relations. We're going to get plus 15. Plus 15 is pretty low, but that's fine. We got more influence we can throw at them later. We'll do it next turn. Just keep buttering up a little bit for the future. And that, my friends, is going to be our turn 6. Here we go. Turn 7. Coming right up. Now that we have the entire Lothern region under our control, we're just going to chill here for a little while and build up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to Lothern... Nope! Psych! Tyrion, get in a boat! Get the hell out of here! Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! More killing! To the north! Away! Okay, so Tyrion, you're going to just jump in a ship and you're going to sail up this way. Because you want to get up into here, because we need to get to this gate to get our cool item. So we're going to start moving him in that direction. But, while we're doing that, we will do some building here. We want to get the Sacred Flame of Asuryan, which is going to be super cheap now because we reduced the building cost a bunch of times. Boop. There we go. That's rocking and rolling. And now we go over here to Averlorn again. Like us. Love me. And plus 20. Not bad. All right. Cool, cool, cool. That's turn 7. Exciting, eh? Okay, for those of you who thought turn 7 was just too exciting, I present to you turn 8. First thing we're going to do here is go to Lothern, and we need to make sure that we have 3 grand next turn, because we have 1 turn until our surplus rolls over, and we have 2 population surplus, which then means we can level up the actual town of Lothern, and then we can eventually level up the docks of Lothern, and, well, harbor, I guess. But that's why we are not leveling these cities up either at the moment, because if we level one of these cities up, it uses up a population surplus, which means we can't bump this city up. And Main City just has too many important structures in it. So we are holding back on this stuff here until we can get Lothern leveled. But we will commence construction on a plaza. That'll give us some income and some public order. And it won't hit our money too hard. We probably could construct the Elven Craftsman as well, but there is a scenario here where
Champion
we're going to
of
move
the
Tyrion north as well towards Evershale. There is a scenario where you go north like this, and Averlorn has already conquered Evershale and Torsarar.
Ocean breeze.
And if that's the case, you will not get the money for capturing this settlement. Because obviously, it's already been taken by somebody you don't want to fight. So, in this case, I'm going to get extra cash for attacking these guys. But, just in case you're not going to get that extra money from doing that, you don't want to overspend. So that's why we're just going to go with the plaza here for right now. And we will have enough money next turn to be able to get Lothern to level 3. And once again, relations. And we're out of influence for the moment, but that is totally okay. Just gonna go past this and head on to turn 9. Alright, here we are at turn 9. We finally have another turn where we have a lot of things going on. So first off, we're gonna go look up here. Scares me. Out of the way, Vortex. And as you can see, Tyrion's
champion of the
basically sitting off the shoreline from Evershale. We're going to go over here to Averlorn and
Queen
click on them, do some diplomacy.
Do you wish to lay before the Everqueen?
As you can see, they are at war with the Scourge of Khaine. So we're going to go, hey, buddy, I would like to be at war with the Scourge of Khaine. They're going to be like, wow, that's a really good idea. You're like, hey, because we're going to do that, how about you give us a non-aggression pact? And how about you give us military access? And then because it's still high, how about you give us like 800 gold? That brings it to moderate. And then we hit OK.
The time is now.
So now we are at war with the Scourge of Khaine, which is something we wanted to do in the first place. We are at a non-aggression pact with Everlorn, and we have military access, so we can walk on their land. It's a win all the way around. Oh, and we got 800 gold out of it too, so you know that's nice. So like I said last turn, if you are in the instance where Everlorn owns Evershale, right? So like if they own Torcerar and Evershale, you basically do exactly the same thing I did, and getting military access will allow you to land and then walk through here and just head towards the Phoenix Gate. But because we have to fight here, we'll fight them.
Tyrion.
Make sure you switch yourself off of flank speed
Following your orders.
before you go in on this. And then you just click on Evershale here.
No mercy.
Tyrion's
Attack.
gonna jump out onto the shoreline and immediately assault. So one of the weird things in Total War is sometimes you can immediately assault and other cities you can't. This city you always can do this, so don't worry about it. But there are some cities where you jump out and for whatever reason the game considers yourself to still be too far away to attack the city. So in later games, something to keep your eyes open for and be aware of that it can happen. But here, nice and simple. We just go click on it, jump out, and now we are going to be in combat with these guys.
I lust for battle.
Okay, so to win this one, we're going to have to employ some super fancy battle tactics.
Heir of
Let me
Angerrial.
explain. First,
Spearman.
we're going to take our spearmen, and we're going to put them in a long line. Alright, we tracking so far?
Understood.
Then we're going to put our archers in a long line behind them. And so we're going to form 2 long lines.
Without fail.
And we're going to throw these guys over here. And
Eataine
left
chariots.
and
It
right
shall be done.
with the horsey boys.
Shield of the ever
Tyrion and the noble out in front.
Noble.
And there you go. Look at that. Freaking next level stuff right here. 2 long lines? You thought I was going to make 1 long line, but then I made 2. Okay. Enough of that nonsense. Let's kill these guys, shall we? Also,
Archers.
I should probably put these guys on a control group just in case, but, you know. We're just going to speed this up because they are going to run at us and then we're going to shoot them in the face. The usual normal elf things. They should be within range here shortly. Yep.
Without fail.
So I'll take 2 archers and put them on there. I'll take a couple archers and put them on there.
For duty.
A couple archers on there. And then the last archer
Orders
on those
understood.
guys.
It will be done.
Let's take the chariots and the horsey boys out on the flanks. Wait for these spearmen to run in.
Heir of Angerrial.
Tyrion and the noble can beat them up.
For duty.
Now you might wonder why I'm shooting the archers instead of shooting the guys that are charging us. I mean, like I said before, the archers do the most DPS to us. I know that the cav could clean up the archers as well on the backside,
To the fray.
but it's just easier and we take less damage this way to just shoot the archers to begin with and have the cav just clean them up while they're retreating.
Orders received. Without fail.
Those guys are getting surrounded there, that's fine. These guys don't know what they're doing. We're also going to reselect our archers by hitting 2. And then we're going to take our guys off of fire at will. And then we're going to put them back on at fire at will. And now they just shoot the guys in front of them.
Silver helm.
So we don't have to like take the entire line and retarget them onto different enemies.
It will be done.
Yeah, we'll take these chariots, run them up behind on these dread spears.
Noble.
You guys keep chopping at that. I could roll my infantry around, but it's actually going to be more effective to take my archers out here and roll them around.
It shall be
Because the
done.
archers do more damage. So, like, I could take these infantry and, like, turn the flanks in here and start surrounding these dudes, which is a good idea. But because we have more guys than they do, we can actually employ our ranged on the flanks as well and do a lot more.
Eataine chariots. Move. For our
These chariots just chase
ancestors.
these guys out. It looks like it's not even going to matter, though. Those guys are pretty much smoked. Enemy leadership's falling apart. And there we go. It's over! And now we have Evershale. Heck yeah. Alright, we're just going to
We
occupy
have
this.
captured it.
Yes, we have.
For my queen.
That guy died. We got a Raven Keeper here. Again, like I said, I'm just going to keep unequipping these. Just to prove a point as far as how effective the strategies we are using are. We are going to put another point in Bowmaster. His Tyrion leveled up, so that's going to max that out, which would be really nice for our archers. We're going to go over to our Noble. And we are going to give him hard to hit, because melee defense is excellent. It gives them our staying power, and most of our damage is coming from our archers anyway. So giving him hard to hit and just allowing him to stand in the middle and stay alive is going to be superior to doing anything else. Yep, hard to hit. And now we are going to head back down here to Lothern.
The Asa are troubled.
And we're going to level up our Elven town. There we go. And we have money left over, so we're going to do that and get the Elven Craftsman here as well, which is just a building to get us more money per turn. Also gives us some more trade resources, so we can get more cash from trade. And now, because we know how much money we have left, we can go back up here to Tyrion.
The Reaper.
Build him an archer and a spearman, which maxes out his army, so he's all good to go. And then we can take a look at our influence again. Fortunately, we can't give her any more right now. We are one off, so once we get more, we can help work that up even further. As you can see, because we also went to war with the Scourge of Khaine, we're getting a +4 bonus for that and a +1 bonus because we killed some guys. And then we got those treaties with her for going to war. And that gave us another +25 on top of the +47 we're getting from the intrigue, which is equating to, right now, 92. It's going from 31 to 92. What we want to end at before we kill off the Scourge of Khaine is somewhere between 100 and 120. If we can work it up to there, we should be golden. So that's our goal right now, and we'll show you why that is as we move on down the line. But for right now, that is going to be it for turn 9. And now we get to move on to the double digits. So hang on. Let's go. Ooh, button hit. Alright, so here we are. We're looking at another intrigue at court. These are entirely random, so I can't guarantee you're going to get this on turn 10, but you should at least get a couple of these before turn 20. So, just like before, I'm going to go with the +10 and -750 gold, because that is the most likely middle ground that you are going to be able to achieve at any point. But we've got another -5 for 30, which is really insanely good. If you are playing this campaign, do this one instead. You get this option, do this one instead, as our public order is totally fine. So we're going to take the 750 gold hit and get the 10. You're also going to get the mission for your armor, and for that you need a promenade, and that'll give you 30 influence and 1,500 from the treasury.
The people
That is this
are
building
restive.
brought up to level 3, so we're already on our way to getting that, and we'll just keep leveling this building up, obviously, to achieve
Your
that goal.
prestige grows,
Then we
my
have this.
lord. News of your conquests spreads far and wide.
Yay!
Your developing power is noted by even the most
So
distant
strong.
of kings and bestial lords.
Holy crap, we are so amazing. But yeah, this is going to give you a bunch of cash, too. We have the Occupy Loot Raise Stack, 4 different settlements, and then we had 2 bonus objectives completed, which is probably about what you can expect. So we get 4,000 gold out of that. So we get a whole bunch of money this turn. And then the Trumpeters also finished, so we will look to get another technology rocking and rolling. And then we finally also have the Invocation of Vol, which is the really cool one that we want to do all the time. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do it until next turn, so put a pin in that. Hit that up, and then this just says we are going to have to occupy, loot, raise, or sack 8 different settlements to get more money. Just click on past that. And from here, we're going to go up, and we want to move Tyrion first.
Protector of the Everqueen.
As you can see, we could go over here and hit this, but we're not going to. We're going to move up to the Phoenix Gate.
Servant of the King.
These guys will probably take Torsoror out.
The Phoenix
We don't got to worry
Court
about it.
will never agree.
So, Tyrion's just going to chill here. because I can't quite get to the Phoenix Gate this turn,
The air is
unfortunately.
fresh.
But next turn, we'll run up there and get that siege going on. Now we can go back down to Lothern and
Yes,
level
sir.
up our public order building. And then we can go to technology. And the next thing we're going to want to do is tech spear wall, which gives extra weapon strength to spearmen, sea guard, and silver guard. We just care about the spearmen, obviously, right? So, spear wall it is. Now, because we got some more influence, we are going to go here to the Intrigue at Court, and we are going to improve relations. Obviously, if you do not get the event, or you do not have the 8 required to do that, just wait until the next turn, or the next turn, or next turn. Whenever you get it, just dump influence into Averlorn. Because right now, that we're able to do that, they are looking at being at 105 with us. So we're up over 100 already, and well on our way to that sweet, sweet 120. Obviously, between 100 and 120 is good, but in case we lose some along the way, we want to be a little bit over.
An excellent view.
Though, another boring turn, overall. Just getting some cool stuff and shuffling things around. So, turn 11, on the way. Turn 11, coming at ya. So, first thing we're going to do right out of the gate is go over here to rites, because we got that sweet, sweet invocation of Vol. We're going to perform that rite. Get our nifty little animation going on. Oh, craziness. And then this is going to pop up. Boom. So we are going to get the option to select one of 4 different items. These are going to be random, so in your game, you're probably going to get different items from what I got in my game here, but there is always going to be at least one really good one. The Blade of Sea Gold, super solid. Armor-piercing weapon damage plus 100, charge bonus plus 45, base weapon damage down 10. So your base weapon damage and your armor-piercing weapon damage are 2 different values. Armor-piercing damage ignores armor entirely, and base weapon damage is reduced by armor. So this is still, like, fantastic. Ignore the negative 10. It's really nothing. Staff of Solidity, this one's kind of crap. Miscast chance, reduced by 50%. There's so many other things that reduce miscast chance that we don't really care about that. The Blessed Tome. Now, if you're playing somebody that was not the Elves, this would be pretty good. Plus 8 leadership in an AoE. That'd be great if you're, like, undead or something. But the Elves have really good leadership anyway, so that's, again, a pretty useless item. Then you have the Sapphire Guardian Phoenix, which is one of the best ones you can get. Any of the Guardian Phoenix items are really, really good, because not only do they give a 25% resistance for whatever their, like, main thing is. You can get, like, physical resist, you can get magic resist, you get fire resist. It also gives a passive 12% resistance to everyone else on the map. That is friendly, obviously. So this is ridiculously strong. If you have the option to get a Guardian Phoenix item, take it. So we're going to take it. We're not going to use it because we're not guaranteed to get it, but in your game, equip this to someone. For Christ's sake. Now we are going to travel on up to Tyrion.
Protector of the Everqueen.
And we're going to run at the Phoenix Gate.
For my queen.
Wah! Alright. We do not want...
I lust for battle.
I know you lust for battle, but we do not want to attack here. We have a smaller balance of power, which means he is going to come out and try to fight us on turn 11.5. So we want to let him do that. If we can negate his walls entirely, then that is absolutely fantastic. Another thing to take note of with gates, they are not like regular settlements. Even though they do have a wall, you can attack them without siege equipment. We do have the invocation of Vol, so even if it did have a full-on wall, you would still be able to attack it, but for future editorial, you can assault these without any form of siege equipment whatsoever. So, but we want to just encircle this
Sunfang hungers.
so that on turn 11.5, they come out and try to kick us in the face.
There is glory
and
to
we
be
will
won.
just do an Uno Reverso on that and kick them instead. Something else to take note of, depending on what kind of seed you get for your randomness, there could be a guy here. The guy that's down here could be up here instead. If that's the case, nothing really changes. It's just that there will be like 5 or 6 more dudes that will come out of the city and get murdered by you. So don't worry about that. And also these guys took Torsorar, as predicted. And we'll go down here to Lothern.
We are ill at ease.
And we're going to upgrade the city of Angerrial over here because it's a port city. We want to get that leveled up because ports are really cool. And also it is the closest to our potential enemies. You've got the greenskins over here still, and these guys are kind of angry elves. So we want to get this leveled up so we get walls around it as fast as we can. We're going to be focusing this city and this city so that if people come around and start messing with us, we have the best defenses we can possibly get. Lothern, level up the money building, which is an elven artisan. And with that, we are done for the turn. So we can move on to turn 12. Well, 11.5 actually, because we're going to have a fight. But, you know, we're on our way. Well, would you look at that? Delkith over here just won 500 brand new punches to the face. And he has come to collect.
Sunfang hunger.
Once again, on the field of battle. Now this one is a little bit awkward because sometimes the computer will set up over here in these trees. Sometimes it'll set up over here, slightly to the right of that. And if you happen to have gotten the seed where the enemy has a leader in this town, they'll set up like here-ish, and then the enemy reinforcements will come on from back here or back here. So what we want to do right out of the gate
Spearmen!
is we're going to take our spear bros and we are just going to stack them up in the middle.
Orders received!
Due to the fact that we do not know exactly where the enemy is going to be coming from, we want to be able to adjust to get into the correct defensive formation for either of these paths, because the enemy will take their entire force and walk it down one of these paths. We take our archers now.
Archers!
And we will put them here. So once again, we don't know where we need them yet,
It will be done!
but we do know we need them.
White lions!
White lions can chill back here, as well as
Serve the king!
horsey boys,
Assur and noble!
and our leadership can go stand up front. Let's take you guys. We'll put you on control 1 as well.
Loyal
And we put these guys on control
by
3.
Alariel!
That will work. So let's see where the enemy is going to come from. Okay, so like I said, they set up over here, which means they are likely going to push straight this way. So we want to start taking our spearmen,
Spearmen! As you say!
4 of them here, and put them across that
Assur
path.
guides us!
Block that off. And then we'll move our white lions up here as well.
Swiftly!
And then we're going to get our archers. Some of them on the hill over here,
Forward!
overlooking, so we get that
Assur,
extra
forward.
damage for being on the hill.
Acknowledged.
Put these guys there.
Assur, move!
And then we can set up another dude right behind.
Forward!
Take our leadership, put them out in front,
Excellent!
as per normal. And then we're going to take these 2 guys, and we're going to shift them off to the right, and utilize our cav on
Following
the
order.
flank.
Spearmen!
These dudes here, we can just stack them up behind.
Assyrian guides us!
So the enemy's going to push up here, and we'll be able to engage them with our arrows, and then flank them with our speedy cav and chariots, and get around behind, hit up some of those ranged units, try to knock them out. We're actually going to take these guys, and we're going to slide them closer.
It
So we
will
want
be
to have
done.
them able to engage the enemy archers once they get within range, which is going to be
Loyal.
about now. So
Without question!
we will commence firing on them,
Assyrian! Archers!
and then once those guys start getting in range,
Warrior! It shall be done!
we'll have our
Assur,
other archers
advance!
light those dudes up.
For order! As you say!
He's obviously jockeying around with his Cold One Knights a bit. These guys are going to be some of the guys we want to target right off the bat once they get within range. As these guys are the only dudes that can really stop our cav from doing their work. So we want to make sure that those guys are dead or retreating. We'll use our guys on the hill here to target them. So we should have a cleaner shot from up here.
For the king.
Have all of them targeting. And we're just going to try to hold the line as best we can. The rest of our dudes here. Charge those guys in. Move these guys up here as well. And now we can take this stuff and start moving it up here.
Acknowledged.
We'll have these guys walk instead of run, so they don't beat the infantry.
Heir of
We'll have
Angerrial.
Tyrion go after the enemy leader. Otherwise, we are getting a lot of good kills down in the enemy lizard man cav here. Cool.
Tyrion.
Looking good, looking good. Some of those guys are retreating.
Orders received.
We'll start swinging
Yes.
the infantry around here, and then we're going to start moving fast with the
Quickly
rest of
now.
our
We
cav
advance.
units. You saw the enemy cav is pretty much defeated at this point.
Archers.
Take these guys,
Loyal.
fire at will, halt them, turn them
As
back
you
at fire
said.
at will, so they start shooting at whatever they want.
For duty.
And we're actually going to start
To
focusing
the
up
fray.
these
Serve the
Blackguard
king.
of
To
Nagarund
battle.
because they are the next most dangerous thing out here.
To battle.
Have these guys retarget,
Sail. As you say.
send the cav after these dudes that are running.
For our ancestors.
Get those guys onto the enemy cav. Gosh dang it.
A serious
I would just
way.
accidentally select that cav like 7 times.
Eager for battle.
So this is looking alright still. These guys are taking some good damage. Everything up here is actually like getting completely crumped,
Ready and able.
which is excellent for us. Our spearmen are taking the brunt, which is exactly what they're there for, so
For
not concerned
duty.
about it.
Answer forward.
That stuff's good to go. Bring these guys around and start cleaning up those guys that are retreating.
Archers.
Something I do want to take note of here
Purify.
is you really, really, really do not want to charge into these dudes here. These Blackguard of Nagarund, if you charge into them with your cav, you're probably going to lose your cav.
Battle call.
'Cause they do a lot of anti-large very quickly. So your initial hit will be fine. You'll do damage. But if your cav is engaged with them for any extended period of time, they'll get destroyed. So be very careful. If you come around behind here and the enemy's not already running and you want to try to push your cav up in, go after like the Black Arc Corsairs instead of the Blackguard of Nagarund. Have the archers clean up the Blackguard of Nagarund. It's going to be your best bet. Anyways, we just need to clean up as many dudes as we can now so that the wall does not have many defenders. Just put these guys back here to help catch people that are retreating. Otherwise, we're just going to use our chariots and our horse boys to kill off anybody that has a decent amount of units left, like this guy. Get these dark shards cleaned up. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Away! Get him! Okay. Everybody here has, like, no health bar left, so we're good to go. There we go. Super, super simple. Okay, so coming out of the gate here, you can either take the casualty replenishment or the money, depending on how beat up your guys got during the fight. I did lose a bunch of spearmen here, and because I don't know specifically how beat up you're going to get doing this fight, I am going to go with the replenish option.
Enslave them.
Hey, we made it to turn 12. This is going to be another super laid-back turn overall. So first thing is first. Let's go up here to Tyrion.
Seal.
And let's do his level ups. We have finished Bowmaster, so we're going to start on Combined Elites, which gives our Spearmen more melee defense and our Silverhelms more speed all the way up through. So we're going to grab that. And then we're going to go over here to our Noble, and we're going to give him more hard-to-hit levels, so he is even tankier.
No mercy.
And now that we fought that fight,
Attack.
guess who's defending the gate? It is one Cold Knight. Well, it's 8 of them, I guess, but we are going to use the
I am
auto-calculate.
ready to fight.
The good old auto-resolve button here, because this is not worth fighting at all. There. Ah, he died. We lost 0 guys.
Ancestors be
That's actually fairly surprising. Usually the game will kill at least one of your dudes. And we got another level out of it, which is nice. And we
This
are
place
just
is
going to
ours.
occupy.
servant of the king.
So occupying this gate obviously gives us the gate, which is really, really nice. But on top of that, it finishes this quest. So now we get the Heart of Everlorn, which we can equip to Tyrion. And I am actually going to equip this one, because if you get this gate, you will have this item. It's 100% guaranteed you will have this, so I'll just leave that on Tyrion. I won't unequip this one. A bunch of cool stuff. Click through that. Alright, we're going to go back to Tyrion here, because he gained another level. We'll get more combined elites. And then we'll go to our noble, and we'll get more hard to hit. So he can't do anything now. He's just in the Phoenix Gate, because he took it over this turn. And we're going to go here and get, once again, rebuild Lost Splendor, because it's very hard to get growth inside of gates. So we want to use this for the growth. So we'll do that right quick. And then we'll head down here to Lothern. And we will level up the Shrine of Assyrian. Now the big thing we want to watch for here during this turn is Lothern is just about to get to level 3. We want to make sure that we have enough money next turn to start leveling up the harbor. So we should be plenty fine here going into the next turn for that. Otherwise, we're just going to shove some more relationship over here. Love me, please love me. Now we just have one more thing to do. We are going to go, once again, to Everlorn.
I bid you welcome.
And
What
because
do you wish to
we
discuss?
have a trade route here, we can ask for trade. Hey, you want to trade?
The time is now.
Sweet. Now we get money. The reason we're able to trade with them is because we can connect our capitals together. So Gainvale's here, right? Goes up to there. Then it comes over here. Then it goes down to Evershale. And then we can connect through the ocean to Lothern. So basically, as long as you can trace a path between two capitals, you're good for trade. Obviously, we can trade with these guys over here because we can trace a path around out like this. Now, you cannot trace paths through allied factions or anything along those lines. So let's say I had to trace a path through this person and I was allied with them. This wouldn't work. Which is annoying, but it's the way it is. So trade can sometimes be a bit awkward, particularly for certain factions that are a little bit more landlocked. But with that, that is the end of the turn. Let's roll it. Okay, here we go. Turn 13. This is going to be a breeze. We're going to go up here. We're going to grab Tyrion.
Champion of the Ever Queen.
And we're just going to walk him towards Anlec. Get out of the way, Everlorn. Got business to attend to. And we're just going to swing down here. Back to Lothern. Upgrade the harbor so we can get the extra money and the additional resources for trade. Boop. There we go. Now, we don't really have any money to do anything else. So we're just going to go back up here real quick, and I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other various things that can happen. So, when you're going to take the Phoenix Gate, it's possible that Gainvale just wanders up there and attacks it, and you really don't even need to fight the garrison, because the garrison will be pretty much defeated by Gainvale, but they won't capture the gate, so you just walk up and take it. So, there is a situation where you don't even have to do this fight, really. You just walk up, auto-calculate, take the Phoenix Gate. Super easy. Then over here, there's a couple different things that can occur. When you walk up here, sometimes there'll be a guy here. Sometimes there won't. And sometimes they will walk up here and siege Tor Anlec. If they siege Tor Anlec, just go this way to the Shrine of Khaine, and then come back afterwards. But right now, there's nobody sieging it, so we're just going to head towards Tor Anlec as per usual. Normally, this is what happens, like what you're looking at right now. But there are always outlying situations. There is a decent amount of RNG in the game, so I'm just trying to keep you apprised of what might occur during your game. But that's going to be it. On to turn 14. It's turn 14, and we have more combat for you. Let's go. Up here to Anlec. Tyrion gonna blow it up. Well, actually, he's gonna capture it, but we're gonna blow things up and then capture it.
For my queen, kill them.
Now, rolling up on Anlec here. The reason why we can attack this, and we don't have to build siege equipment,
lust for battle,
is because we have the Invocation of Vol running, and you'll get to see that in combat as well. It's pretty darn useful. I'll show you how to use it to the best of your ability, and not only knock down walls, but potentially kill some fools. Alright, enough talk. It is time to kill.
I am ready to fight.
Okay, our first real fortification battle of the entire campaign so far. Isn't this exciting? Alright. When you're attacking a fortification, first thing you want to do is survey the walls. We got 3 towers here. We've got 4 towers here. We have 3 towers here. And... oh, look at that. There's 1 tower here. So I wonder where we should attack. Toughy. Seeing as how we can break through the walls and we don't have to worry about gates, we're gonna go over here. Away from the towers.
Servant of light.
Scooch everybody back. Another thing to know about towers, at least when you're fighting the AI, the computer will always target the closest thing to the tower. And unless you're fighting Lizardman towers or Skaven towers,
Assure warrior.
they tend to suck really bad at shooting single targets. So
Shield of the Everqueen.
Tyrion and the noble here are going to be our target practice for this tower, essentially. So that
We will obey.
our archers are able to dump arrows onto our enemies and cause maximum damage.
For duty.
Once the walls are down as well, we can scoot our infantry in
Orders received.
and
We will
try
obey.
to grab as much space as possible. Put you guys there.
Silver hounds.
Usually in sieges, your cav is not very useful because, well, they're good at running around and killing people from behind. It's kind of hard to run around a solid object. You might be able to get them inside. If you can get them through before the battle is essentially over, having the cav run around down the streets can be pretty good still, but obviously they're going to be a lot less useful here than normal. Okay, let's get rolling.
Sword of the
Want to make sure
Emperor.
that we don't move within range of the
Onwards
enemy
to victory.
archers here,
Together.
but we want to try to move these guys up
Moving out.
as close as we can otherwise. So you can
Will
see
be
the
done.
range of the enemy archers there. Scooch those guys up. And now we have the Invocation of Vol, which is this button over here, right? So we've got some archers, got some enemy archers here and some enemy archers here. The best place to put this is going to be on top of these guys. You have to target an enemy unit, and then whatever is under that unit will get destroyed. And these guys fell down in there. Now, if I'd been a little bit quicker on that, I could have gotten this other unit, too, that was standing on the backside of the wall. Pays to be fast.
White lions.
Move you guys up.
Without fail. Moving out.
Slide these guys up as well. Now, you want to try to get a little bit of an angle with your archers, so you can kind of get side shots up onto the wall as best you can. Elven walls have really bad parapets, so it's not that big of an issue, but when you're fighting other factions that have better parapets, it's nice to get kind of an angle to fire across, so you get more of a high arc and potentially hit less of these little teeth sticking out.
Missiles.
And we're just going to keep firing arrows at people. Keep eating them up. And because his archers are over on this side,
Spearmen.
we can take our
Without
spearmen
fail.
We'll move them around the
Without
right-hand
fail.
side here. We're also getting close to another Invocation of Vol. And we'll
Okay.
likely just want to wait for that. Because we're not going to get a chance to use it
Forward.
once we get inside the city at all. We're just going to let our archers fire. I'm going to speed this up. As you can see, the tower's doing like no damage to Tyrion. We're catching a little bit of enemy fire here, walking across. But it's fine. There's our invocation. And these guys are the strongest dudes here, so we're going to hit them with that. Hopefully, yeah, we should be able to knock that wall down there. There we go. Blap! And half a unit gone. So we've basically killed 2 units. With an ability that's designed for knocking down walls.
Ifilmar chariots. Asa, move.
Quite handy. Let us
Orders received.
take our spearmen and shove them up here now. And we'll bring our white lines of trace up as well because they're better at dealing damage. And we'll bring
Going
our leadership to the front. And we're about half on our arrows at the moment.
Archers.
Can take our archers and move them up slightly also so they can get some better
Duty.
shots.
Orders received. We away.
Pretty much all the enemy archers are, like, super wrecked right now. There's 1 unit of Dark Shards that's doing
Spearmen.
somewhat
Assault.
okay.
Attack. Advance.
And we're going to shove these infantry through the gap.
Understood. Spearmen.
Actually, we're going to take these white lions
March.
and bring them over to the left.
Moving
And we'll bring
out.
this unit of spearmen and shove it over to the
Serve the
left
king.
as well. Start pushing through. Obviously, we're not going to get a lot of purchase here because we can only get so many people fighting through this narrow gap in the wall.
Heir of Angerrial. Son of Ulfwood.
But with Tyrion there too, and the enemy is
White lions.
giving us an
Onward.
opening here,
We away.
which would be really good for our cav to exploit.
Advance. Weapons ready.
We can go around and flank this mess. Whenever possible, you want to try to get people going through multiple gaps in the wall, or even like if I could get a gap over here or something like that. If I had artillery, I could destroy more stuff. So you're not all trying to fight through this tiny little area,
Ancestors.
and these guys
We
can
go.
roll around the flank.
Swiftly. Acknowledge.
Like I said, you don't usually get a good opportunity with your cav, but because of the enemy not defending this spot at all, we are going to be able to get our cav inside
Orders
and
understood. Sail.
have them crash into the backside of all of these infantry units, which should clear the way very effectively for us.
Acknowledged. Loyal.
Move our spearmen
Defending
over
order.
here.
Acknowledged.
Send
Heir of Angerrial.
Tyrion and his noble friend over here to go beat the enemy leader up.
Spearmen.
And
As you say.
we can take these guys and start
Azure,
heading them
Advance.
over towards these other
Azure, move.
units.
Sail.
Cav and chariots should be able to clean up the last of these swordsmen that are over there.
Without fail.
We're going to turn these guys off fire at will so they don't just start using more of their arrows.
Advance.
And then we're going to move these
For
guys
duty.
inside as well.
Moving out.
And then if we get the archers inside to do more damage to people that are inside the fortification, that'd be nice too.
It will be
We
done.
have a few arrows left, so
For Lothern.
we're going to try to utilize those
Asa,
as best we
move.
can. His leader is completely crumped, as the orcs say. He might die here too. I mean, he's going to die because we're going to capture the city, but
Silver Helm.
he might just outright die.
Assyrian willing. For Ulfwan.
Too. My guy's hitting him before the battle's even over.
Spearmen. As you say.
These guys over here. Let's bring the archers inside now.
Move.
When you're moving people inside of a fortification, you have to be careful as well because only so many units can fit through these gaps at a time, and it can cause your units to get kind of weird.
Loyal.
Just gotta keep an eye on your guys, make sure they aren't doing stupid crap, right? Okay, that guy got chased off. Let's go around this right-hand side.
Orders understood. Move.
Bring these boys around. We'll move these spears up, which will then free up that
Ifilmar chariot.
side to charge into these swordsmen. Go, go, go.
Battle loses its
Hiya! And that's pretty much going to ruin their day.
We will obey.
Push these in up here. He does have a group of shades.
It shall be done.
So we're going to move our archers up.
Asa forward.
Try to put a lot of damage down on those dudes.
Heir of
And
Angerrial.
we'll just keep swinging these guys around the right-hand flank as well.
Understood.
Take these dudes and push them down the street. A lot of the times, if you have a good amount of infantry, what you're going to want to do is use them to block streets off and stuff like that. So if the enemy tries to flank you, they won't have a really good opportunity to do it because they'll just run into your infantry.
Chariots.
And it also allows units like your cav to move more freely through the city. They know they have lanes they can travel through without getting hit by random infantry units also walking down the roads.
Spearman.
All right, our archers are in a good position here. We're just going to open up with everyone onto these shades,
My blood
which should pretty much wreck everything here. There we go. Yeah, those shades were like, nah, don't like it, not a fan. Oh, there you go. Nice, easy siege battle. Roll on in. Bust down a wall section. Bust down another wall section. Ideally, when you bust down wall sections, obviously, I was busting down wall sections partially to kill enemy units, but if you have an option, you want to make sure that you break wall sections, like a hole here and a hole here is good. Holes, like, right next to each other, not quite as useful, because if you run a guy through this gap, and then you run a guy through this gap, you're going to run into the same enemy units defending both gaps. But if you break a hole, like, through here, like you saw, these guys pushed through, and then the enemy went, oh, crap. We got to go over here, which then freed us up. And, thank you, there we go. Freed us up for the flank. More John Madden arrows. Arrows everywhere! Okay. Looks good, though. Another city for our glorious empire. Welcome back to the campaign map and the infinite money sound glitch. Just freaking jam out to that for a while. Okay, enough of that. We're gonna occupy this.
You will never for Alariel, my queen.
And thankfully, that gets rid of the infinite money sound glitch. We also got a Helm of Discord, which we will instantly unequip. Get that out of here. We don't need your fancy schmancy items. And we also gained another level with Tyrion, so we're gonna get combined elites. And another level with our noble. We are going to go with the Blade Master now to get more melee attack, so we can do more damage now that we have maxed out our melee defense. And then we're going to click on Tor Anlec.
Servant of the king.
And sometimes there's a barracks here. This time there's not. But sometimes there's a barracks here. If there is, just sell it. It gives you a little bit of extra cash. You don't need it up here anyway. And now we can also see where the Shrine of Khaine is, which will be our next target. We will go here, and we finish that technology. So now we can get militia training, which will give recruit rank +2 for spearmen and rangers and archers. And we're going to be building more of those units in the future. So having that will be useful. Also, none of these other ones are all that good. So we got the 3 of the best ones. Now we're just kind of like picking and choosing until we can get some of these other better technologies researched. But we need buildings for that. So for now, we'll just have to make do. We're going to go back down here to Lothern. On that, we're going to upgrade the Tower of Lysean. And then with our 3 grand here, we're going to go over and we're going to build an Elven embassy, because that not only increases the amount of money you get from trade and ports in the region, and we have 2 ports, including the Lothern Harbor, which is a big port. It gives you 2 influence per turn, which can be very useful. So we're going to get that. And we can upgrade the Promenade as well, which is, if you remember, part of our quest, which gives us more influence and more treasury. So we want to get that rocking and rolling. And that is going to be turn 14. Looks good. Let's move on. Turn 15. This is going to be another quick turn. Let's go up to Tyrion. We're going to grab him.
Servant of the king.
Toss him into the ocean.
Queen.
And we're going to have him sail around towards the Shrine of Khaine. Now, as you can see, it's not going to let us ditch Tyrion out on the shore because of this zone of control. But if we click the city, because the city is this thing that is creating the zone of control,
seal.
Now we can jump out. So now we will be ready for next turn to attack, provided these guys don't decide they want to randomly siege the Shrine of Khaine, which I don't think they will. But, you know, hey, weird things can occur. And we're going to go back down here. Now you kind of have a choice to make. You can either build the Shrine of Asurian, which will unlock cultural advancements, which are pretty darn good as far as technology is concerned. That's over here. These, you get the the Elven Court and the Shrine of Asurian, and then you can get the Waystone Network, which increases your movement range, or Maritime Empire, which allows you to see all of the sea regions, like I mentioned way back in the beginning of the video, if you can even remember that far back at this point. So that stuff's pretty darn solid. So if you want to do that, you can get that. Or if you're concerned about people potentially trying to kick your butt, like these guys or these guys, you can go to Angerrial and build some walls here. Or, well, a garrison. You won't have walls until you upgrade it the second time. But this will give you some troops to help defend with. Though I am not overly concerned with these guys. So I'm going to do this. Boop. Get that going. And with that, we are looking at all of turn 15. Again, like I said, it was going to be a pretty quick turn. So moving on to turn 16, where we can kill some more Dark Elves. Okay, so this is important. Something to take note of. If Averlorn offers you anything past a non-aggression pact with military access and trade, do not accept it. The reason we do not want to accept military alliance or defensive alliance is, one, the rest of the AI will use that to try to get you into a bunch of random-ass wars before you're ready. So you need to be careful there. And then two, the military strength of Averlorn will get increased because they are allies with you. And you don't want that because you want them to confederate with you, also known as becoming part of your faction. So you want them to actually become part of your faction, and if they are considered to be stronger, they will not want to do that. So we just want to tell them, no, we don't want any of your nonsense, leave us alone, and we'll get the Confederation later on. Okay, looks like we got another intrigue at court, and our only options are make Trace mad, or spend a boatload of money. I honestly do not remember how angry Trace is with us right now. Though considering how bad our diplomacy die rolls were at the beginning of the game, I think I'm just going to go with the thing that knocks down my treasury by 1.5k. We got 20 influence out of it, which is still pretty darn good. And now we are going to roll up towards Tyrion. Click on him.
Protector of the Everqueen.
Attack the Shrine of Khaine. And once again, we need no siege equipment because we have giant explodey hammer powers. Yeah. Okay. Onward.
Bring me back.
Another day and more Dark Elves that require punching. Okay, so once again, right off the bat, we're going to take a look at our wall. Seems pretty obvious. 3 towers, 3 towers, 1 tower, right? So here is our weak point, right in the middle. Though these towers over on the sides are still going to have fields of fire. into where our guys want to stand, which means we're probably just going to take some damage. We just got to deal with it. Take our spearmen and put them in the center. Try to avoid the towers as much as possible. Same thing with these dudes.
Noble.
We'll take our noble and put him over here on the left. So actually, with him on the left,
Spearmen.
slide this stuff over a bit, because Tyrion will pick up the mid tower, right? So he's going to pick up this tower, and then he's going to pick up this tower, which means here's our fields of fire, right? So these guys back here can kind of hide in these fields of fire, and then hopefully we can stay outside of this one. So we'll take all our guys,
Orders received.
shift them slightly over to the left. Once again,
Archers.
we will take our
It
archers
will be done.
and get them into position. Once again, trying to avoid the field of fire from that right-hand tower.
Without fail.
The enemy decides they want to put troops on it. We're going to stack our archers up here.
For duty.
Put them on 2, put them on hold position.
White lions.
White lions can kind of hang out over here as well. So, immediately upon starting the fight, we're going to move him forward, and we're going to move Tyrion forward, and then we're going to move our archers
Archers.
forward to a position where they can actually shoot, and we're going to be looking for the thing we need to hit with the Ball's hammer. And that looks like a good start to me.
We will obey.
Let's do it.
Direct me.
Once again, we want to make sure we do not move within the range of the enemy archers. You can hold down spacebar for that.
Without fail.
And then you guys, we want to have you guys slightly behind
Without fail.
the leadership. And right here is a good place. You can see there's some Black Ark Corsairs hanging there, so we can hit both these units, right? Boom! Tons of damage. Freaking massive damage. All his archers are kind of shifting around. Let's slide you over here further, so if the enemy overshoots...
Moving out.
Like, right now the enemy is missing and hitting my archers, which is what's going on. Okay, that tower has been taken. We need to move, again, a little bit to the left. You can, if you mouse over the tower, you can see their field of fire, if they're currently manned. So archers will keep ripping things up here. Enemy heroes and lords, if they are on top of the wall, when you break it, it does not kill them. They just fall down. So, don't even try it, as they say. We're just going to keep shooting here again until our Ball's hammer comes off cooldown. Because we want to try to do as much damage as possible. And we would like to have 2 holes in the wall. If I can make a hole here, and then obviously there's some good guys here, so we can make a hole here with Ball's hammer. That would probably be ideal.
Loyal.
Let's move these guys up again slightly. We'll also speed the game up. Because we're just going to be sitting here shooting until... Oop, hang on. Hang on. AI's being cheeky.
Acknowledged.
Got to keep your eye on this stuff.
Duty.
The AI will shift troops back and forth to try to man towers to hit your guys in the backfield. So, just be aware of that. Try to stay on top of it as best you can. Well, maybe there won't be anybody to actually hit here. Doesn't really look like it. Nobody's up on top of the walls anymore. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, as you can see, he keeps shifting back and forth between these 2 towers, trying to hit our guys that are standing back here. So, I guess we'll just... Well, we can't even target the wall because there's no troops standing on it. Can somebody get up here, please? Come on. Put some dudes up here. I see somebody up here. Briefly. No, I'm just going to speed this up for the moment. Somebody should climb up on top of the wall. Anyone? Any takers? I mean, if he just sits here and eats arrows and then runs away, that's fine too. We can just move up normally. Okay, it looks like he ain't gonna do it, so...
It will be done.
Let's just take you guys and shift forward.
Loyal.
It's unfortunate, but
Ithilmar chariots.
we gotta make do.
We advance.
I mean, if anybody does climb up there, when we get closer, we can always hit them. We do have to be careful with our archers that we don't shoot too many arrows off here. Because there's still a good amount of enemy troops left, and these witch elves are actually fairly dangerous against lightly armored guys, like, or spearmen. We only have 40 armor. I mean, 40 is decent for a troop of their quality, or tierage, but, still.
On me! Quick time!
Witch elves tear through lightly armored troops very, very effectively. I'm just gonna shift on up. Come on, somebody climb up these walls. Oh, alright, fine. Hey, she climbed up, but she's standing on an indestructible portion of wall, so I can't blow that up, unfortunately.
We will obey.
Let's try to get these spearmen inside before
Moving out! Advance!
they get blocked by anyone here.
Noble! The
Let
king!
Tyrion and the noble go after the enemy hero.
Loyal!
Yeah, we'll take these guys
Move!
and shift them to block this road.
Orders received.
Take these guys to block this road.
Guides us. Ready and able.
Send
Immediately.
Tyrion and the noble up here.
Charge!
Start nuking that.
As you say. For Assyrian.
We got some witch elves over on the right.
Onward!
So actually, let's take you guys.
For
We'll split you
duty.
across
Acknowledge.
all those dudes.
Apace.
We can take our archers and shift them forward to this corner so
say.
we can get some high arcing shots over the top.
Seal.
I could blow another hole in the wall here.
Heir of Angerrial.
Tyrion and my noble apparently just do not
greater
want to go up the
good.
wall, but that's fine. There we go. She came off. Witch elves are fighting us and doing a good amount of damage to our spearmen, as predicted.
It shall be done. Understood.
But once our archers get into position here, we will once again
It will be done.
put them on fire at will, and now they should start shooting over and hitting a bunch of these dudes that are fighting our front line. Keep shoving infantry into the gap.
Lions. We will obey. I shall. Noble
Go.
boy. Understood. Swiftly.
More infantry. More, and even more besides.
Resolve is failing.
Thankfully, we don't really need to fight anybody after this, so we can get beat up here a bit. Alright, one of our infantry units is retreating. And
Sword of the
also,
Asur.
our noble is getting beat up
As you
again.
say, death to all.
I need to get Tyrion on
Retreat.
top of this witch elf. Okay. I think he's got it.
Spearman. Orifan.
Yeah, like I said, these witch elves are dangerous.
Archers.
They're doing some okay damage to us.
Yes.
I wonder if I can get my chariots in here.
Forward.
I don't know if I can get my silver helms
Archers.
inside the walls very effectively, but
Loyal.
should be able to at least get the chariots in there to help out.
We away.
We've got an issue that the enemy is kind of hiding under the enemy's kind of hiding under the backsides of the walls.
Apace. Move.
But yeah, there we go. Chariots broke through. Now we can start running people over.
Silver helms.
Let's get our cab back inside here as well. I think the enemy leader died.
Without fail. Understood.
And those guys also died on that side, so we can move
Swiftly.
dudes over further. Keep the chariots moving.
Forward. Asa
Our
move.
horsey boys moving. They still have a few more horsey boys of their own
Asa forward.
back behind.
We
It's fine.
go.
Thankfully, Tyrion, as previously noted on multiple occasions,
For the king.
it's essentially just god status, so he's just standing there
Understood.
chopping people up.
Serve the king. Onward.
And back the
Assyrian
chariots
guides
up.
us.
Turn
To
them
the
around.
fray.
Charge the Blackheart Corsairs.
Spearmen.
Let's get our spearmen
Quickly
set up
now.
here. We'll
Orders
take some of
received.
our archers that have ammo
As you
left,
say.
and we'll move them
Advance.
inside.
White lions.
Let's try to make sure we can finish up
Onward.
those witch
With
elves.
me. Loyal.
Let's keep running the
Moving
chariots
out.
back and forth
March.
and murking these Blackheart Corsairs. We need to try to get some of these
For
archers in
duty.
position
Eager for battle.
to deal with these enemy horse archers. And then these Dark Riders as well. Oh, these guys are just potentially going to charge straight into spears, so...
It shall be done.
See how that works out for them.
Setting forth.
I'm going to guess not well.
Attack.
We can move Tyrion up as well here.
Spearmen. Slay them. To battle.
Those spearmen up. Our archers are almost in position. Let's have the chariots run up here. Got to be a little bit careful with our white lions because they're taking on a bit of damage.
Archers.
We'll have these
Ancestors.
archers start
For the Ever Queen.
lighting up those horse
We
archers,
go.
which should die pretty quick.
To the fray. Away!
Is there a large target?
Weapons ready! It will be done!
Horse archers are shooting my horsey boys. Get away from my horsey boys.
Asa, move!
Freaking beastard. There we go. And then that's going to break them. So that's going to be the Shrine of Khaine under our control. Now for the first time, it's actually going to be worth it to sack and then occupy. So we're going to click on the sack
Take
option.
what you can. My journey begins.
And then Tyrion will walk backwards. And we're going to click on Tyrion. And we're going to walk back up to the Shrine of Khaine. And because there's no garrison, we're just going to occupy.
Shield against the darkness.
Oh, we got a ruby ring. Fireball. Woohoo! And that is going to destroy the Scourge of Khaine. Then we can click on the Scourge of Khaine. Or not the Scourge of Khaine. The Shrine of Khaine. Haha. And as you can see, it's only going to cost about 900 to fix. And then to rebuild the shrine, it's going to cost another 2,000. But we still netted money out of the whole situation. And also, it only takes 50% of the time to build the Shrine of Khaine because we are Tyrion. And we've got that cool Majesty of Ulthuan thing going on for us. So even though we shreked it, we are now able to rebuild it much faster. So now we're going to go down here to Lothern.
The sea churns!
Click on that. And we are going to start getting garrisons in key places. So Angerrial and the Shrine of Assyrian. Start getting that leveled up. And then we can also level up the growth building in Lothern so that we can get more growth going on, get Lothern leveled up faster. All of that normal, fantastic stuff. And that is going to be the end of our turn 16. Hey, is it turn 17? Sure looks like it. Let's go check out Tyrion. Off we go, up to the Shrine of Khaine. Okay.
Tyrion.
He gained a level, so he's level 10 now. Now, we can't unlock Majesty of Ulthuan or Bloodline of Anarian until we hit level 12, so we can't start putting points in this yet. But we've finished Combined Elites and Bowmaster, so we don't really need anything else in the red skill tree right now. You will want 3 points in Skymaster for your dragons and potential Phoenix later. And you will want Master Strategist so you can get Sword Masters of Hoeth and Phoenix Guard. But because we can't build them right now, there's absolutely no reason for us to put levels into these skills until later. Once we start getting the structures to construct these units, then we're going to want to start pouring the points into these skills. But for right now, just ignore them, though don't forget about them. And then later on the line, we will also want Rally, Favorable Winds, because that helps out our archers once they're over rank 7, and Heart of Flame, which helps out our dragons and phoenixes once they're over rank 7. So, unless you have a high-level army, these are wasted as well. So, obviously, save these, get them later. Though, for things that are useful right now, we could go look at our blue skill tree and start putting points into Merchant Lord, which gives us more tradable resources, so more money. If we were going to go down the blue skill tree even further, I would put, obviously, 3 points here. Then I would put 1 point into Wary, which increases our ambush defense chance, and the enemy's hero success chance goes down. Then, obviously, Draftmaster, because you have to. And then Quartermaster, because it reduces the upkeep of your army. So, again, makes your army cheaper, gives you more money. Lightning Strike, because that allows you to take your armies into 1v1s versus the enemy armies. Lightning Strike removes all reinforcements from the battle. Your reinforcements, enemy reinforcements. So if you think your singular army can take on any other enemy singular army, then this is the skill for you. And with Tyrion, and with later tier high elf units, this is more than likely true. You probably can just go around smashing any other faction in the face in a army-on-army fight. Then we could go down here to Renowned and Feared, which gives you a bunch more stuff. Reduced upkeep, campaign movement range, hero self-defense chance, recruit rank for your units, enemy hero action success chance goes down. So this is just an overall really good skill. But you need to get 4 points up here first, so Quartermaster and Lightning Strike works perfectly for that. I wouldn't really be concerned about this stuff. Alternatively, you could go up here to the yellow skill tree and just start pouring points into making Tyrion smash people in the face. Which, if you're planning on going like Bloodline of Angerrial or something like that, I would say that's a pretty good idea. If you wanted to go Majesty of Uthwan, maybe go to the blue skill tree. If you want to go Bloodline of Angerrial, maybe go to the yellow skill tree. Then we have these skills up here, where if you want to get any of these, just go for it. Whichever one seems to be the one you like the best. Friggin' rock and roll. I like Dedicated to Adioth because dragons are expensive, and upkeep reduction on dragons is good. Plus, income from sacking settlements is super nice because money is cool. For right now, though, you could either look to put Tyrion on a mount. I like to keep him dismounted, like I said before, but if you want him to run around really, really fast, stabbing people, this is a great option. If you do that, though, make sure you get Ward of Loic, because that missile resistance is going to go a long way when he is a larger target, being on a horse and all. In this instance, I'm going to go with Speed of Asuryan overall, because, like I said, I want to keep him dismounted, all the other myriad of reasons I've stated for these other skills, and it is a great single point. 5% speed and 3 melee defense? Yes, please. Boop. With all that taken care of, now I bet you're asking, what the heck do we even do with Tyrion? All the enemies are dead, and he only has one purpose, to murder. But we do have some public order issues here, so there's more murder in this direction.
Servant of the king.
Start walking Tyrion over towards Anlec. You can head over there and deal with the rebellions
Setting forth.
that are probably going to form. Now, we can go look at Lothern here.
Bring down the canvas.
We're going to want to upgrade this building here, the Elven Artisan, because it's the most cost-effective, along with putting a plaza in here. Again, because it's cost-effective, it gives us income and public order. As you saw before, when I first scrolled down here, we could have potentially just upgraded this building to level 3, but we actually get less money per turn out of it for more money up front than if we build the plaza. So that's why we're going to go with this and this. Less cost up front, more per turn overall. Now time for everyone's favorite Total War activity. That's right, diplomacy. Okay, let's go over here. Click on diplomacy. Let's see if there's anybody that likes us enough to trade. Looks like Trace might be.
Prince of... I bid you welcome, traveler.
Oh, nice.
What would you wish to
Non-aggression,
discuss?
trade, military access.
If
Cool.
you wish.
Hey, they like us. And that also shows us these guys over here. Oop. Let's see. Hey, maybe they'll like us? I don't know. We'll
At your
see.
service. Phoenix Court awaits your
Oh, yeah.
plea with interest.
Neat. There we go.
A wise course.
So we got a couple new trade agreements, a couple new non-aggression pacts. We also got some military access nonsense going on. So these guys, we're going to start looking to potentially confederate them in the future. But speaking of confederations, let's go look at Averlorn. Like I said before, we were trying to keep their relationship in between 100 and 120 with us so that we can look for that confederation. We are currently sitting at 107, and it's going to 119. Let's see if they
Mistress
want
of the
to
Undying
confederate.
Forest. We have much to discuss.
Okay.
Come, join me.
Right now, they don't want to. But usually, you'll get confederation around the time of you defeating the Scourge of Khaine. So either on the turn you defeat the Scourge of Khaine, or the subsequent turns after, keep looking for this confederation. I would say we're going to get it in the next couple turns, at least. There are some outlier scenarios where you might have to pour more influence into the deal or potentially give her some money to make it happen, but very consistently, you are able to confederate, so always check it around this time. Like I said, we'll look at it next turn and the turn after until eventually they're like, hey, you're cool. Though that is the last thing we should have to do this turn. Cancel that. Head on over to the turn tracker. Away! And it's turn 18, so we completed the first stage of the Dragon Armor of Angerrial quest by completing the Promenade in Lothern. We now have the second stage, which is to have 2 white lines of trace in Tyrion's army, so we'll have to do that at some point. But for right now, let's go take a look at Tyrion, see what he's up to.
Tyrion,
Looks
heir
like
of Angerrial.
our noble gained a level. Now, you can either put a point into replenish troops, which would be a pretty good idea, or I usually like to put a point in knowledge of man's affairs, because that gives you higher diplomatic relations with those factions, so potentially more trade, but also gives you bonuses to income from trade and income from ports in all your regions. You could do knowledge of high elf affairs, which gives you still income from trade, but it gives you a bonus to entertainment buildings, or knowledge of lizardman affairs, which gives you income from industry buildings and diplomatic relations with lizardmen. So this one does a lot as far as diplomatic relations goes, and ports give you a lot of money, so it's very good. Again, you could put a point here or a point here. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to put a point here. Now we're just going to take Tyrion and head him further over towards Anlec, because we're going to have a rebellion there in 3 turns. But just because we're chilling here waiting for rebellions does not mean we're not looking for other threats. We're going to look around over here. We have the Cult of Pleasure landed over here at Tor Anrock, so we need to keep our eyes on this. They could very easily spread out into the rest of the island, so if they start getting crazy, we're going to have to send Tyrion to go lay down some pain on that. But for right now, we can chill. We don't have to get super excited. So, the next thing we are going to do is go down to Lothar and Angerrial. We're going to level that up, because that not only unlocks the next level of port for that city, we can then get our walls, and that will help defend this area a little bit more in case, once again, if these guys get uppity, or if... Okay, the greenskins are gone. I was going to say, or if the greenskins get uppity, but they're dead, so we're good. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our diplomacy again. See if anybody new here wants to trade. No, does not look like it. And now we are going to give a look over towards Averlorn.
Elariel the Everqueen.
Indeed.
You stand before the mistress of the Undying Forest.
Moment of truth. Hey, Confederation. Boom. Boom. So now that we're confederated, a couple of things that we're going to want to look at right away. One being our money is in the toilet, because we just got a bunch of new units. And we got some provinces, and Confederation complete. And 2, we now have a big debuff. Our public order is now -8, and all of the other high elves are mad at us for 5 turns. So again, we just have to keep our eyes on them. Normally, they will just leave us alone. It'll be fine. There's always those really, really outlying scenarios where they decide they hate you and want to try to murder you. But normally, they will just be angry at you and everything will be okay. Not saying that's always the case with confederations, but it is the case with this confederation. So let's go look at some of the stuff we just got.
High Elven Archmage.
Alright, so we just got an army here. And we can't afford, so we're just going to take the whole thing. And we're going to kick them.
High
And we got another army here that we can't afford. It's got some dryads in it, but dryads are not like a crazy good unit, so kick that whole thing too. Hey, our money's sorted back out again. Now, we have...
Elariel the Everqueen.
Elariel, she's fine. We will just leave her there for right now. We can't take her out of march stance, so we can't build any units on her at the moment. That's fine. Another way you can check to see what you gained is you go over here to provinces, and be like, okay, I have Averlorn now. I already know I have this one, and this one, and this one, so we can check out, yep, those are all the provinces. Averlorn has build options as well as commandments, so we're going to do the Rebuild Lost Splendor again. You pretty much want to run on this until you max out whatever city you're currently working with, so Rebuild Lost Splendor. We can also destroy this barracks. We're not going to need that at all. Then we can go over here and construct a growth building to get the city leveling up faster. Over here, we can get the Woodman's Hut, which will decrease the cost of archers and spearmen, as well as giving us logs for more trade money. So we're going to do that. And then we are also going to get rid of this building here. I know it gives us some money per turn. We're going to ditch it so we can start getting walls built up around Torsoror, just in case things get hyphy at some point. So, do that. And Then we're going to check and make sure we don't have any other armies running around by clicking on the Lords and Heroes tab. Nope, looks like we're good. We just got Tyrion, and we've got her. We can take a look at her real quick. As far as skills and stuff go, she has the Staff of Avalorn, which gives her Winds of Magic, which is really nice, and power recharge rate. She has the Shield Stone of Isha, which gives her melee defense, ward save, as well as a constant 12% physical resistance around her, which is very, very strong. We go to skills. As you can see, she is a magic caster, so she has protection magic from the Light School, as well as some heals from the Life School, and then some more stuff from High Magic, more stuff from Light Magic. These are like damage spells, so a whole bunch of stuff. Very, very nice. Otherwise, she just has red skills, and then her own like specialty stuff up here too once she gets to it. And right there is going to be your turn 18. Nice Confederation going on. A little bit of building, but otherwise not a whole lot happening. We're just kind of keeping our eyes open for any threats and moving on to turn 19. So here we are at turn 19, which is going to be, again, a very quick turn. It's just going to be very administrative. We did get the quest for Sunfang, which is Tyrion's sword. To get that going, we need to build more units, which is great, because we are going to do just that here in a second. We're going to take her,
the Radiant,
put her in regular stance,
my
drop her into Taurus
subjects.
Soror, and these units are fine, I guess. We'll just keep them. We're going to start building archers, because spearmen and archers, that's what you need to do around here. And then we're going to go to Gainvale, and we're going to pick up a public order building. We're going to upgrade our growth building. We are going to go to Evershale, and we're going to upgrade that as well. We're going to surf on over here and get a watchtower constructed in this region. So that's that region taken care of. Tyrion is continuing to be on watch duty for rebellions forming up in this area, which we will have one next turn, so watch for that. And otherwise, that's legitimately it. That's all we got. Turn 19, done. In the books. Oh, it's the final game turn. Well, final game turn for me, anyways. I imagine you would continue playing this out, but I am only covering up to turn 20, so that is what we are looking at right now. It is actually going to be another super simple turn, but there are a few things I want to talk to you about, as well as wrapping up and giving you some advice going forward. First, let's go take a look at these rebellions up here.
Your orders?
We'll have Tyrion run up. And we're going to take a look at these guys. As you can see, they are all low-tier units. I mean, we have low-tier units too, but ours are much cooler because we have red skill tree line going on to help buff them. And we have way more. A big thing to take note of with rebellions is that the quality of the troops that are in the rebellion is based on the amount of military structures and tierage of military structures that you have in the province. So this province doesn't have any military structures. It's all administrative, which means we're going to have a low-tier rebellion. Walls and garrison do not count as military structures. They are defensive structures. So if you have a bunch of walls set up and a rebellion forms and you don't have any military structures, it's going to be a low-tier rebellion, which means your garrison with your walls is probably going to take care of it. Also, rebellions only form in the main city of the province. If you don't own the main city, then it will randomly appear in between all of the smaller settlements within that province. So if you are capturing things and your public order is bad, what you want to do is get the city upgraded, get walls around the city, get your public order buildings and stuff, obviously. But if rebellions form, you can basically just leave at that point and everything will be fine because your garrison should be strong enough to handle these small, low-tier rebellions that are popping out. There are some exceptions to this, like the Southern Realms area, the coast with like Mergliano and Sartosa. Everywhere in there will basically always spawn rebellions of great swords and handgunners. So you have to watch out for that. If you are capturing those regions, those rebellions are going to be a lot stronger all the time, no matter what. Tomb King rebellions tend to be a lot stronger in general, and rebellions that are tied to Chaos Corruption also become stronger depending on how much Chaos Corruption is in the region. So a faction like Morathi is going to have a lot harder time with her rebellions because they're going to be formed off the back of Chaos Corruption as opposed to off of what the city has constructed in it. But this is another reason why you don't want to have your military structures spread out all over the place. You want to consolidate them in a nice, safe area where you have good public order, so you don't have really strong rebellions knocking down your door, causing big problems, while you're also trying to deal with things out in the field. So to sum up, build garrisons and walls, and keep your military structure footprint small in all of your provinces, when possible. Good talk? Alright, let's auto-calc these fools.
Pull back.
They did. And we can just take money.
Go. Very well.
Yay, money. They are dead. Get a war banner as well. Cool.
The Reaper.
Let's go roll back into Anlec. You can chill in there.
Heir of Angerrial.
Heal up a bit. Roll down here.
Alariel.
Build in
Head of
troops.
Queen.
Go over here to Gainvale. Let's get that going on. Now, we could level up our timber mill to get more logs. Let's check here real quick with trade. We are currently exporting 100% of our trinkets, but we are only exporting 72% of our logs. So getting more logs is not very useful. So we will not upgrade the building for logs then. That's fine. Let's go move on down to Lothern. Check out what's happening down here.
Yes, sir,
Hey, we can upgrade the Shrine of Asuryan. So we're going to do that. And then we can go look at our technology, because that is back up again. We are going to want to go over here to Naval Discipline. That's the next best one we can get until we can get more technologies unlocked. So this will help our garrisons. We don't really have any Sea Guard constructed because they're kind of expensive for what they do, but this does count for the garrisons too. So it's a good thing to grab. Okay, so that is the end of turn 20 proper. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about what you can do going forward. I would advise either you should look to go after the Cult of Pleasure over here. Once you get your places stabilized, obviously, where we're not having rebellions all the time, going after the Cult of Pleasure is a good choice, seeing as how they're already kind of invading, and they usually invade to some extent. So going after them is not bad. Plus, a lot of people hate them, so you can get more elves on your side, potentially get more confederations. You could also go after Safri over here. They have some good buildings you can take, and obviously getting the whole inner area on this side is really, really, really nice, seeing as how these are all mountains here, so it's very difficult for anybody to really invade. Gets somebody out of your backfield that potentially could cause you problems. And obviously, just keep looking for confederations outside of that. Couple of scenarios I didn't quite go over as we were going through this because they didn't come up. There is a rare scenario where the greenskins just go completely nuts and they attack you. That usually happens while you're up here fighting these guys or finishing these guys off. So if that does happen, just get ready to take Tyrion and start moving him south. Well, continuing to try to get the Confederation with Avalorn so you have another army up there in the north. If you absolutely have to, you can construct another army up there, get some spearmen and stuff, and defend against any rebellions that might appear up there in Naggareth. Sometimes also you don't even have to worry about all that much because the other elves will just kill them. Then you have to just get your settlements back if they happen to have burned any to the ground. Also, Morathi sometimes goes absolutely crazy and just takes this entire coastline. If that happens, do your best, try to push her back. She will get overextended, so you will probably be completely fine. It's just, you'll have to fight some more Dark Elves for a little while. Archers and Spearmen. That's what you need. And Tyrion, who is good at Face Punch. But that right there is all of the major stuff for the first 20 turns. Going forward, as far as what should you construct, my endgame armies normally consist of Phoenix Guard, Archers, Dragons, a Phoenix, and then a couple of heroes, like a noble, a lore master, and a mage, or just like a noble and a mage, or a noble and a lore master. That's usually the kind of thing I'm looking at in the end game. So that's what you should be trying to build towards for your army composition as well. So obviously construct buildings that get you to that end, and then go stomp the world. The High Elves are great. They're a fun faction. Thank you so much for watching this far. Obviously, it is an incredibly long video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. There is a bunch of content on here, so if you want to hang out and see some more stuff, there is definitely things to watch. Also, you can catch me over on Twitch, where I stream 4 days a week. The links for that will be in the description. I'm also going to link a document down there that has a bunch of information if you are a new player, so you can better understand the mechanics of this game. There's a bunch of stuff that's not very well explained through just playing. So take a look at that document, and hopefully it'll help you have a smoother learning curve going forward. But thank you again for watching this video to its entirety. I hope to see you again soon. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I will catch you in the next one. Peace!